All right, good people of Cherokee County around the world from London to the Bay. Hope everybody's having a good day. Big Matt Diamond Dean's back in the house. Guys, we have a lot to talk about today, and we have a special guest or two maybe. And we appreciate y'all coming by. YouTube, Twitter. We had a lot of new followers on Twitter, Dean, last week. I had over 100 people watching on Twitter last week. So the show's really grown a lot, and we're appreciative for it, what the good Lord gives us. And we always feel blessed to be able to share a little bit about our county and tell a little bit of news about what's going on around the land and a little college football. And it's pretty today. I've had the door open and candles lit, and it's nice. It's not raining. I'm so sick of the rain. So let me share our local area basketball for just a second, and then we're gonna get into it here. Coosa, Coach O'Brien and his guys and girls will play at Galesville tomorrow. And the winner will play at Spring Garden Tuesday. I think Cedar Bluff then will play that day also. They'll play JCA. That'll be boys and girls at Spring Garden. Most of these games are going to start off about 5 or 6. 2A tomorrow. Sandrock, that's where it's at. Sandrock's hosting 2A. 5 is going to play Collinsville. They're going to start at 6 boys and girls, and also Sandrock will host Tuesday Gadsden and Sandrock. I think I had somebody tell me that Tuesday game is going to be at 6, not at 5. But if you come at 5, hey, go stand and get you a burger and help support your local schools. So that's what you should do.
Some of them games during school. You know, they used to do that.
Yeah, we did. We used to do that at Cedar Bluff. And last 4A girls, the girls are hosting out here. Cherokee County hosts 4A girls. They're going to play Cleveland County. That'll be a good job. Coach Barton, first year over there at Cherokee County, he's done a really good job. Kind of a new setup with the girls, and they play hard.
They do. Somebody said Spring Garden girls lost. Who did they play? The Golden State Warriors?
Oxford.
Oh, Oxford.
That's okay.
I did not think they would lose the game. I guess, was it away?
Yes. Well, they beat them last year up there. Remember, was we at that game?
They beat Oxford at Spring Garden.
Yes.
Yeah. And the boys 4A will be at Jacksonville. They're going to play at Jacksonville. The boys are going to play White Plains.
They're good. I'm talking about Jacksonville's very good.
Yes, they're very good. So there's some of your local whatever.
And does your son play basketball?
No, he doesn't. I think 3A is Piedmont plays Welborn on Tuesday, and Sachs plays Weaver on Tuesday, and Winners play Thursday.
We've heard
at Piedmont.
Well,
we've heard a lot about Oldham.
Not to be. I don't think we ain't being rude. I guess I don't. This guy on the right here, he may need some introduction. He's only been on the show about 3 times. Mark O'Brien at Coosa Christian. We're glad that y'all came down, and the fella to his left over there, I don't think he needs any introduction. Coach Rush is here. Coosa Christian gang, come by to hang out with us. But yes, and his boy just signed with West Georgia a couple of days ago. Yeah, congratulations on that.
Yeah, it was good. It was an intense 2 or 3 weeks. You know, you do a lot of traveling, you do a lot of visiting, and you had about 5 official visits, and it was good, but just a lot of traveling. But I'm glad it worked out for him to go to West Georgia because it's closer than Mars Hill, North Carolina, or Graceland, Southern Iowa.
Oh yeah, he had a good year. They had a lot of good receivers, didn't they?
They did. We had a really good year, and you know, anytime you play in state championship.
Oh yes, sir.
You know, it's back to back. My son was state champion as a junior, and
runner up as a senior.
Senior in his sophomore year, we were semifinal loss at Buford, so we might as well lost them.
Well, there ain't no shame in losing to Buford all the time because I've watched them for years. They're great.
I was surprised to see them go out in the second round this year.
Yes.
They must have got was it third?
Yeah,
I was surprised to see them go out in the third.
They came up against Carrollton.
Yes.
Got a really good.
They got a machine this year. They're really good.
The 7A was really good.
Yeah, we'll say they lost the championship. Mill Creek beat them by score 70.
They have like 4,500 kids in that school, I think, Mill Creek. I looked it up.
Yeah, we played them in 15 in the semifinals. We played them several times. We played them 14, 15, 16. So we played them a lot. But they, you know, talent-wise, Mill Creek's got a lot of kids to pick from.
God, they do.
But 7A in Georgia is very competitive. There's about 12 to 16 teams that can win a state championship every year.
And we talked about this, Darren, when that was going on. How they do their playoffs, you know, how y'all did it over there. I think you. I mean, I can say it. It's our show. I think you find a more clear-cut winner that way. Do you
You
agree?
talking about no north, no south?
No north, no
Yeah.
south.
Right.
It's just all together. I mean,
Yeah.
but the bottom line in Georgia, Atlanta's so big.
Mm-hmm.
If you take it, there's 84 7A programs in Georgia.
Wow.
84. Well, 80 of them
Mm-hmm.
are in Atlanta.
Oh,
80
so it'd be
in the
very
7A.
unfair.
So you don't have a north south. And in 6A, it's a little more tilted, but still you got a lot of 6As in Atlanta more than in the south. You have to get down in the 2A, 3A, 4A rim, maybe even 5A rim to where it
Well, you can
equals
have
out
some
north,
kind of-
south, any kind of balance. But you know, it's just, I mean, all your 1A schools in South Georgia are really better than anything in the north.
Right.
2A is
Well,
very
here,
competitive
right.
throughout. 3A's the same, but you know, there's just a lot of good football.
What?
in
How
Georgia.
do they do the playoffs? I mean, how do they? I know they don't do north south. So is it just?
Just region.
By
well, they still
rankings
got
or-
region 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Okay.
8. So
Mm-hmm.
it's still a 1, 2, 3, 4
Right.
in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
You match up,
Okay.
and then regions, you know, 5, 6, 7, 8 match up,
Mm.
and then after the first round, it sort of flips.
Mm.
But it's all about region winner. You know,
Right.
Alabama winning the region don't really
No,
mean much.
you can finish second or third, and
Wow.
if you finish fourth,
See?
you may draw a one from your from another. 5 will play 6 and 7. You know,
Yeah.
and
I've saw it more than once.
Yeah.
The region winner didn't even.
it seems to me now. I don't.
Second place.
I don't
thing,
claim to know. That's just my
Or-
opinion. It seems like you get a better champion in Georgia the way they don't have a north and a south. And I may be wrong. It's just it just
No.
seems like you get a real solid
You do.
champion.
And you can play a team in your region. If you finish one
Yeah.
in your region,
Yeah.
and like for example, when we won the region 4 years in a row, well, Lowndes finished second. Well, we were in the semifinal, which Milton in my last year in 18, Milton beat Lowndes on a last second deal, and of course we beat Archer on the last second deal in the semis, but it could very easily been us and Lowndes for the state championship
Right with this
in the same region.
Yeah.
And so,
easily.
you know, Colquitt County beat Valdosta in '94, which was in the same region, and that's who they beat in the state championship. So,
You kind of
Wow.
get you can get a rematch.
yeah, you can get a rematch, but the region winner, your highest seed is going to get the home game. So if
Okay.
one plays forward first round, well, okay. So in the second round, you're going to play the 2-3 winner. So you're going to get a home game round 2.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the difference. based on traffic, but we'd always leave on Thursday about midday, between 10 and lunch, because if you try to leave Friday morning and hit that line of traffic going up 75,
You know.
it's a 6-7 hour drive.
I think they're moving it back indoors, are they not?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're going back to the Mercedes-Benz,
Yes.
which is my last year in 18, we played at the Mercedes, and then 19, 20, 21, and 22, they moved it to Georgia State, which is
Georgia
on Turner
State.
Field.
Right.
Yes.
And because of conflict,
Yeah.
and they finally worked it out with the Atlanta people there at the Arthur Blank Foundation, and got it worked out for the high school state championship. They moved back inside.
glad
It's need to be.
Yes.
Need
Yes.
to be.
We watched
We
the.
went.
We were there at the last game.
Trevor
when
Lawrence.
Trevor played his last game up there, and he had been telling me how good he was. And one of my buddies
He didn't
worked
do
with
good.
his daddy, and his daddy had told him when Trevor was young. He said, "Man, I can't." He said, I can't get him off skateboard. All he wants to do is skate, you know." And he said, "I think he's going to be good at football." And they laughed about it. Now years later, of course, we know him. He's a millionaire playing football in the NFL now, but.
Had a
So
good year.
we could show up down there at the game. He's like, "I'm telling you, Snarks guy's like, oh, let's watch." So we sit down and get our seat there, and we're watching. He's like 6 for 12. I'm
He
like,
did.
what is it?
Oh, it ended up being real bad.
Yeah.
It ended up being like 13 for 33.
But they were up 30-0.
Yeah.
Halftime, and that tailback they had that year, he was great, and their defense was just shutting them down.
They
So,
won 58-7.
yeah, it was pretty bad. So,
So.
but that was my Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, and I looked back on the stats, and that was the worst game he'd ever had in his career. So
I
me and
jinxed
Matt
it.
got
I'm
together.
sorry, Trevor. I apologize, buddy. That's my fault. Jeff Anderson, he's a guy he's a fan of ours. He lives in Georgia, big Ohio State fan. He said it's pretty good. What did he say here? Something about Mills Creek had several pro football players play for them. He said Carrollton is the smallest 7A. What
It
about
is.
that?
It
What
is.
about that?
Well, they were 6A in 2020. We played them in the quarterfinal,
So just had enough to bump them.
and in the following year they went to 7A. But they're the smallest 7A probably in the state.
Georgia rewards the regional winner. That's what he said.
That's right, it does. They
That
won the
state's
original
loaded with talent. What class is Griffin?
4A or
4A.
5A.
Well, somebody told me, and I looked it up. They told me to look it up. They've had like 20 people play in the NFL. Griffin has.
Oh, a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and it's not. Is that considered in the Atlanta area? It's not, is
Well,
it?
it's southern Atlanta.
Right.
How many teams you say there was at 70?
There's
80.
80 7A programs, 79 or 80 7A programs in the Atlanta area. The only teams that are not in the 7A that are outside of Atlanta are Valdosta, Lowndes, Colquitt County, Camden County. And then Richmond Hills falls down. Their numbers are 6A, but they elect to play up in 7A. They're over in the Savannah area.
What is it, Richmond what?
Richmond Hills.
Richmond Hills.
You know,
I know they. I mean,
Must
I've
be
heard of
pretty good.
Camden. I know Camden's been ranked nationally.
Yeah.
Before.
Well, the thing about it is, Camden's a great program. I mean, we beat them in 2011. They were ranked 7th in the country, and had won about 29 in a row.
right.
But the thing about South Georgia is there's just no way to. There's not a great way to get to Savannah or Augusta from Southwest Georgia. I mean, it's that state, as we know, is real fat on the bottom, and there's a lot of traveling there. But it's a great state of high school football, guys. I'm just telling you, I'm there I coached in that state for 13 years, and there's a lot of good football, and it's really gotten a lot better from around 2008 to now is when Atlanta has exploded in the high. Because used to, when I was at Hoover, you only had Parkview, Brookwood, McEachern. That was it. There wasn't really another good football team in Atlanta area. They were all just below anything in the South.
Right.
Over a 10-year period.
Is it just population? Is that what it is?
That Mill Creek was not a school, guys.
Really? 2000?
Archer.
5, 6, 7?
Yeah, 2007 or 8. Grayson was growing.
Okay.
It was small. Buford was 1A.
Wow.
Mill Creek, there was not a Mill Creek.
1A.
There was not an Archer. There was not all these schools have just grown.
It's just population. People have moved in.
Yes.
Because I asked you that, when you was doing your coming in down there, and I kind of was curious about how there's just such a difference in, the teams that are good over there are good here, and they wind up meeting up, and, usually games are not close.
Well, you take, I looked it up the other day. Alabama had the best recruiting class in that they've had since
Yes.
2002.
Right.
I mean, and so when you pull it up, which I have, you know, you got the top. You got to go all the way down to about number 25. There were 22 players in the state that were 4-star or better in the state of Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. I'm looking at.
That's
Keith
what I did last
Maniston.
week.
Keith Maniston, right down the road,
Yes.
was a 22nd ranked player in the state of Alabama that signed with Alabama. 23 now drops to 3-star: Auburn, Arkansas, Tennessee, Kentucky. Then Memphis, UAB, Auburn, Tennessee, Auburn. My point being that it's the deepest I've seen in a long time. I mean, Clemson got a kid ranked 39 in the state from Handley.
Yes.
The running back from Handley.
Oh yeah, he was good.
We talked to him at the game
And
today.
so, I mean, you look
Haynes.
at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt got the 44th player, Josh Palmer from Autauga County. When you pull up Georgia's,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to see it's all the way down to 40, 50 4-star or better.
Yeah.
I mean, and so
Double.
yeah, at least double. And I think that
Wow.
Alabama this year had a great year, but normally Alabama is not as deep as this class was this year. The last time it was this deep was 2002. That's the last time it was this deep.
That'd have been
Well, now I've heard, and I don't remember who said it, that the best football talent in the country is in South Georgia.
Well, you got to throw Atlanta in there now.
Right,
I'd
right.
say that probably 15 years ago, but probably
Mm-hmm.
in
Atlanta
the last
area.
10 or 12 years, I would throw Atlanta. It's
Right.
made Georgia much better. But you take the top 10 in Alabama. Alabama got the first player, Smith from Carver. They got the kid from Eufaula, number 2. Clemson got Peter Woods from Thompson. The other kid from Carver, number 4, went to Alabama. Georgia got A.J. Harris from Central Phoenix City at number 5. Number 6, Kelby Collins went to Florida. Number 7, the Parker kid from Central Phoenix City went to Clemson. Number 8, the Hurley kid from Florence went to Alabama. Got Auburn. Got the kid out of Highland Homes.
Oh, they have Highland Home had a
Yeah,
D1 player?
number 9. And number
Wow.
10 is the quarterback from Briarwood with Clemson. Clemson got
Yeah.
3 out of the top 10.
he's supposed to be pretty good.
3 out
Yeah.
of the
I
top
don't know how
10.
Alabama missed on him, but they supposedly got another kid, and I guess Nick feels comfortable with what.
No, the kid out of Louisiana, I think, is a better player.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that kid.
I've heard that.
I think Eli.
Which one?
Eli Holston.
Oh,
I think he will compete. Now the kid out of Brookwood, I want to quarterback out of Brookwood too, but kid out to me, and it's just my opinion, which don't mean anything. But when you look at him on tape, I really like the kid out of Louisiana.
You like footwork better, that kind of
I
stuff.
just think he's got great potential. I think he'll push Ty Simpson. Most folks in Alabama think it'll be Ty Simpson this coming fall. Will end up winning the job. Well, I think the kid out of Louisiana will push him.
Milrow.
No.
I think.
Milrow.
I don't
I
hear
don't
nobody
know.
saying Milrow will be the quarterback. I don't know.
He could be. Coach Saban, give him a shot now. He'll
Yeah.
get equal.
He can run.
Oh, well, yeah.
Well, the 3 people who get reps will be kid out of Louisiana, Eli Holston. I think I'm saying that name right. Ty Simpson, and who's the quarterback we just named?
Milrow.
Milrow. Those 3 will
Jalen.
get all. Jalen Milrow. Those 3 will get all the reps. Because the other quarterback they took out of Brookwood was playing baseball. He won't get to Alabama until the summer.
Okay.
So we did last week. Last week we did I did a special thing on the top five states in the nation that have the best recruits. And number 1 was Florida. Population 22 million. They had 61 of ESPN's 300 for 2023. 234 over the past 5 years. Raylan Wilson, outside linebacker from Lincoln High School to Georgia. The Desmond Ricks kid, that corner from IMG. The kid from Georgia, McIntosh, he played down there. Jalen Carter all played there. They're all from Florida. It's Fort Lauderdale High School. And of course, I stumbled to the rabbit hole. I'm a history guy. I love football and history, so I stumbled in the hole. We got talking about St. Thomas Aquinas. Aquinas?
Yes.
Bro,
I don't know how you pronounce it.
Wow.
I was saying Nader D.
Wow.
Modern day.
Yeah.
Wow, 1936, they start this school up. You start going out there looking like most in the NFL with 15 since 2018 draft, like Joey Bosa, Geno Atkins, 8-time Pro Bowl. where is this place? And I start looking on it's just Fort Lauderdale. And dude, this place is just booming with talent. And,
That's where Dion.
number 2 was
I know
Texas.
he may be from
For statewide, Texas, they had the most consistent state. Arch Manning, of course, he's going to Texas. Oklahoma State recruit well in this state. But in the state, they had 48 ESPN 300 players, 226 players over the past 5 years. Jackson Arnold, the kid quarterback, school in Oklahoma. And then I got into a rabbit hole with Duncanville High School in Texas. They pumped out the talent over it. Never heard of
You've never heard of Duncanville?
No.
Oh yeah.
I've heard of Katy and of course
Katie's a big time
Odessa.
program.
And Odessa.
Duncanville's a huge program.
See, that's and their student population. They're a 6A in Texas. They're about 4,500. So they're like a Mills Creek, they're a big school. 2% white, 52% Hispanic, 43% African American. Number 3 was Georgia, had 10 million population in state. 27 of the top 300 2023. And of course, talked about Downs at safety. You know, all those guys are going on. C.J. Allen, inside linebacker to Georgia, and of course Grayson High School. It's said to be one of the top in the state for
Where was California that day?
It was at the top, five, wasn't it?
Was it 5?
I think 4 or 5. Wasn't it? It's Texas, Georgia.
Yeah.
Texas, Georgia, Florida,
Alabama was 5th.
Fifth.
California.
Per capita, California's one of the
Which I've
worst.
read lists and put Ohio and Pennsylvania in the top 10.
Hey, they put out a lot of players.
That
man.
Nico kid, the
Louisiana.
kid that went to the 5-star at South Carolina, ain't had one, and since you know when, he plays at Archbishop High School in D.C. And they're a small school. Their school population was like 600-700. Yeah, Bama was 5, and California with a population of 40 million people. 30 plus ESPN 300 players from 13 to 2019, and
Were they 4th or 5th?
4th. Alabama was 5.
It was 6, 7.
It was just 5. We just
We
did
just did
Ohio,
the list
Ohio
I
and
saw
Pennsylvania's
had
gonna be in
Ohio and Pennsylvania.
And New Jersey will be in
New
there.
Jersey being
Oh,
there.
really?
Virginia being there as well.
Yeah.
Yes, Virginia was ranked very high.
that quarterback,
But
Tennessee
they
guy.
say it's just all from one part of Virginia.
It is.
He can play football.
The lower eastern corner.
That
Close to Newport
Chesapeake
News.
area.
Yeah.
That Chesapeake area is
Yeah.
is out my
Very good,
college.
a lot of good
Where
football.
Allen Iverson and all them
Yeah.
guys are from. Well, that's the same thing in South
But St.
Carolina.
Thomas,
It's just like one area.
Michael Irvin played there at St. Aquinas.
Mm-hmm.
I love learning this stuff, and you know, you start finding these little high schools and these little pockets, and they pump out all these players. And but as far as per capita, Georgia, when you do population, and you divide it by, excuse me, by the players and how much the population is, it's top. The state of Georgia is with player ratio.
Louisiana's high too.
Yeah, so is Mississippi.
Kirby knew that when he took the job.
Sure.
I mean, he 2 things. The perfect
Mississippi,
storm
too.
for Kirby was when he took the job. He walks in my office in December of 14. December 14. They were getting ready to play in the playoffs against Ohio State. And he walks in my office in Cincinnati and said, Rush, we were on our play. We had just finished winning the state championship. He's in there recruiting. He said, you know, I want the Georgia job. Eventually, whenever Coach Rick retires, I want that job.
Right.
And so I wrote 6 things on the board that I thought was wrong with the University of Georgia in comparison to what Alabama was.
Mm-hmm.
There were 6 major things that I thought had to be changed, built, done before Georgia could compete with Alabama.
Right.
When he took that job,
Mhm.
he started on that. He's done every single one of those.
Right.
And now the perfect storm is not only he got those 6 things handled, a few other things have fallen in place for him, like the right AD,
Mm-hmm.
the right AD, which is huge, and then high school football in Georgia exploded.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the bottom line.
Heck, they may win it again.
I mean, they're going to be loaded.
Yeah, when you just start going back and looking, I did yesterday. I started looking into it, and I was like, "Well, we're going to research it. We won't get into it too early, but when spring starts, you know, April, we'll start talking about college football again." And so I started looking. They're not losing really defense. Ringo, they still got both those safety guys are coming back. They're losing Big Carter, losing a big push up the middle on defense.
Got their
I think
linebackers back.
their center's coming back. I think they'll have the center. That's huge. My son was center. That's what he did. And I know.
Losing a quarterback will hurt. There's no doubt.
Yeah, they lost.
My kid's been starting running back, and he had a great year. Dejon Edwards, who plays for me at Cobb County. He's number 30.
Oh, did he? He's good.
He's back.
He was one of the three in
Yeah.
the rotate. Were all three of them back or just two of them?
I think just Edwards is back. And I'm not sure if Milton. I don't think Milton's back, and I'm not sure if McIntosh.
I don't know if
is back.
McIntosh is back
They got
either.
it. Let me say this: it's just like
Probably
Alabama.
good.
Yeah.
Irby's just like they have caught Alabama as far as recruiting.
Yeah.
I mean, and they're deep.
Yep.
You got to understand with Alabama now, in the last 4 years, out of the 100 people Alabama signed in the last 4 years, 42 of them have left.
Really?
42 of 100.
Well, you've had 6 coaches in 7 years. I mean, this new offense coordinator. You know anything about him? Tommy Reese. Of course, he played at Notre Dame.
Yeah, I don't know a lot.
I don't know
Tommy.
enough about him to.
I think he's more of a 12 personnel guy that wants to
Seems
pound the football.
seems to me like
Yeah.
they'd maybe just control the clock more. I mean, I know they're going to throw.
That's
They're
what
just
it
not
feels
going to throw
like.
40 times.
Well, you just don't have the. Bama don't got the guys.
Get back to
I
playing
mean,
better defense, maybe.
You lose Meachies and Waddles and those kind of Smiths. You're gonna have to run the ball and play defense at some point. And I think he's old school, like you guys. You want to run the ball and control the clock. But it's got in this flash happy quarterback. Jalen Hurts brought it too. I had it. But when you have guys like Waddle in them, man, you got to give them the ball. God, they're good.
Yeah,
You want your best player to touch the ball every play if you can. You know, that's what it felt like. I made a little YouTube short, and a lot of people complain. I said, "Is Bama moving backwards?" Oh, you don't know what you're talking about. You're stupid. I was like, "Look, I'm just asking a question."
You didn't say they were. You just
No, I
asked.
said, "Are they? Is this because that Notre Dame defense was ranked like 50th?" I'm just saying the obvious. The offense in Notre Dame wasn't great. They did lose to Marshall. Now they did have a lot of injuries, and they're
Yeah,
ranked
they said they had a
athletes.
lot of injuries.
It's not like Alabama, okay?
No,
Has Notre Dame got guys running around there like, no.
no,
They
not
just
right
don't.
now. They used to.
But we got to give the old boy a chance.
I think Humphrey's doing a good job. I really do. I think he's, and it looks like Kevin Steele emerged as the
The coordinator?
defensive coordinator.
Really?
Looks like.
Huh, that's good.
So they wanted Jeremy. Everybody
Well,
wants
people-
Jeremy to come
there
back,
are
and you know Jeremy very well.
Very well.
And
And I don't know a reason why. I don't.
yeah, right. No, I know. Yeah, you don't have no. It's inside. He's busy, and you're busy, and
No,
but
we've talked.
yeah, I mean,
several
but
times, but I mean, it's just.
You don't know why they won't.
yeah,
I just think there's some things there that that have got to get worked out.
Yeah.
But Jeremy's too good a football coach
Yeah.
not to be coaching football.
sure. Yeah,
Does
I
he
agree.
coach anywhere?
No, he just
He don't coach in
living
high
Fort
school.
Payne, Alabama, and raising his kids and watching his daddy and his brother coach.
Yeah.
Daddy's at Plainview,
Right.
his brother coaches at Pisgah.
Yeah,
See, I thought he might have helped. I didn't
Might
know.
help his
He
dad a
does
little
help. He does help some.
Right.
And he coaches little boys soccer team.
Yeah.
little
Be
t-ball
daddy.
team.
That's
He
cool,
being
man.
daddy.
That's
And,
good.
But Jeremy Pruitt is too dang good a football coach not to be on the field coaching football. Now I'm just telling you.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
We all, counting myself, we get caught up in stuff that we wish things had gone differently. But you know, you just gotta rinse and repeat. You know, and that's what he'll do eventually, just like what I've done. You know, I think that I'm appreciative to Coosa to give me the opportunity because I think now that shows they had the guts enough to do it. They had the guts enough to hire me, and I think that's going to help me in my career. Now, and I'll say this: I may stay at Coosa the rest of my life. I mean, I may do it, but I'm going to tell you, I enjoy living in Gadsden. I'm close to my river lot.
well, you're home.
And I want to build. I want to build in my river lot. If I can get that done in the next year, I can see myself building this thing into something really special.
Well, it's your home, and
That's
we,
right.
we want to talk about that too. Some we haven't got into that any because we just been doing what we do. We just run off the mouth because we all love football. Being there at Ohatchee, and I guess as a young guy, you know, say you're 15, 16, you're playing football. What got you to think? You know, I think I'm going to do this. Did you think about it young, or was you in college at Jackson? You're like, you know what? I have a lot to offer. I like to coach.
I knew when I was in 11th grade I wanted to coach football. I mean,
Who was your coach?
Reagan Clark.
Okay.
And Ken Logan and Jerry Ellard and Tim McTaggart. I had 4 great football coaches in high school.
So these guys really made a difference in your life.
Yeah, because you look what we were doing at Ohatchee at the time.
Well, y'all want
Well, I know.
to
We had a phenomenal football program.
70 to 81, it was like 110 wins.
Yeah,
something.
we were winning. We were winning a lot of football games. Our basketball program was really good. We had a tremendous track program, and so growing up on the creek bank in the '70s was a good deal. And
Yeah.
I think being in that atmosphere, you know, it just was no doubt. And then when I went to Jacksonville State to play football, I did it for I did it for one reason, to get exposure,
Mm-hmm.
to be able to coach down the road. I felt
Right.
like I had to play a few years of college football and experience that
Right.
to see how they did it from that level.
Mm-hmm.
And I did. I just played 3 years at Jacksonville, and then, but I knew from
Burgess wasn't
early
there,
on-
was he?
Huh?
Coach
No,
Burgess?
no. This was
It's
way
before him.
Clarkie Mayfield was my first coach. He died in a
Fire.
in Kentucky. And then
Yeah.
Jim Fuller. Jim Fuller was my football coach.
Somebody told me, a guy I work with told me about it. It was a fire at a motel concert, right? Hotel
No,
concert.
he was up there on some kind of convention at
Yeah.
a hotel, and he went back in to save some people and got caught
Yes,
up and
and
died.
Oh, man.
Yes.
Died a
Laughed
hero.
him and died.
And he had played at Kentucky and was on that team where
Bear Bryant.
the coach, well, there was some team right after Bryant where the coach was so rough on them, only 30 guys played, right? That's a good story if you want to read that, Mark.
But
I'm
it's-
sure Coach Probst, have you ever read it? I don't know what they did to him, but it was bad.
Charlie Bradshaw. Charlie
They
Bradshaw.
said they blacked out the windows. I don't know what they did. So,
That was, now Clarkie Mayfield was a very good coach, and but Jim Fuller came in and took over. He was the offensive line coach. He became the head coach. Stayed there from 77 I think he went to Alabama under Ray Perkins in 1984.
line coach.
Perkins hired him as offensive line coach, and he stayed there until Baldwin's left.
So playing as a junior in high school, you're at Ohatchee, and once you get your senior year and you move on, and and we know your first coaching job, you coached at Asheville. Was that your first head coach job?
No, first job.
Your first head job.
Head job.
Head job was Asheville, but the first. I left Jackson State and went to Heflin and coached in Cleveland County for 5 years,
What year would that have been?
81 to 86.
So you started football coaching in the fall of 81.
Right.
Okay.
I actually did it's crazy, guys. When I quit playing football, fall of 79, I helped at Sachs High School.
Uh-huh.
And I did varsity receivers. And then when junior high started, I did junior high football in 79 at Sachs High School. In 1980, I worked for Lou Scales, did my practice teacher under Lou Scales at Alexandria. 1980 and 1981 went to Heflin and was at Heflin 81, 82, 83, 84, 85. And learned a lot of valuable lessons in that deal because we went from 8-2 in 81, my first year as a head football, as an assistant football coach. We went 0-10 in 82. Experiencing 0-10 season was tough.
Yeah.
And then I left there, went to Atlanta for a year at a big school, and but came back to Asheville because Reagan Clark got back in coaching, and I came back here in our first year under Reagan Clark. In 87, we went 0-10 again. On that staff was myself, Bill Clark as an assistant. I was
Bill.
UAB, right?
Yep, and John Gross.
Oh, John.
And y'all were all on the team.
We were all three on that staff at 0-10.
That's weird how y'all kind of, and with your history with that, and I mean, it's kind of all, it is kind of.
So 79 was actually your first year to coach football.
Yep, first year coach football.
Now, Michael Short says, 1984, y'all forgot to pump the balls up, forgot to put the balls on the bus and had to borrow some, I guess, from at Oxford. He said, do you remember that? And I'm
Was
sure.
Short at Heflin then?
Yeah.
He was
Assistant.
he was student coach. He was going to school at Jackson State.
Okay.
He was student
He's a
coach.
good guy.
and,
Yeah, we like Coach Short. He's fun to talk to.
He is a great guy, great coach.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the experiences I had at Heflin, the experience I had in 87, 88 at Asheville as an assistant coach, because we went from 0-10, and Bill and I dug our cleats in, and John, with Coach Clark, because we were sort of embarrassed because we felt like we let him down. I played for him, and then Bill, that's his dad, and you know, here he is 0-10, and we knew how great a football coach he was. And
What turned it around? What was that?
I'm telling you what turned it around. That year we didn't have a weight room. So in the off season, Bill Clark and myself and John Gross would get to school at 6 a.m. in the morning, and we would set the weight room up on the stage every morning. We would have it set up by 6:30.
And that all guys work out.
Kids would work out, and we'd break it down. The kids would break it down, and we'd move it back, and then every day we'd set it up on the stage.
Wow.
Then we'd break it down. We did that all through the off season, going into the '88 season. We went 5-5, made the playoffs, and played Sardis in the first round. They were ranked number 1, 10-0. They had the ball 4th and goal on the 4 in overtime. We're up by 3. They don't kick it. We might have been up 4, but I thought we were up 3 or 4. they go for it on 4th down and score to beat us in overtime.
That's probably the best team they've ever had.
Well, it is the best team Jerry Smith ever had in
Yeah.
Forest. Then if y'all know the story, right after that, a month later,
Mm-hmm.
or a month and a half later, early January, Coach Clark's wife, who was battling ovarian cancer, was killed in a car wreck going home.
Mm-hmm.
Bill's mother. And it was very tough on Coach Clark because every day he went home, he had to pass that same tree she hit.
Right.
So after about 6 weeks, he
Yeah.
called me and said, "Rush, let's go to Panama City. I got something I need to do down there."
Uh-huh.
We drive down to Panama City with Coach Clark.
Uh-huh.
We get down there and he tells me down there when we get down there, we go out to eat at Angelo. Y'all know where Angelo
Oh
is?
yeah, Big
Oh,
Bull.
We go in and eat, and we're sitting at the table, and he said, "Look, I need to tell you something, I'm gonna retire."
Uh-huh.
And he said, "I want you to have the job, but if I retire right now, I don't think you'll get the job."
Uh-huh.
He said, "I'm gonna go through spring ball. We're gonna keep intact." So we go through spring ball, we do everything, and after spring ball, about a week later, school's out, and he walks up to Coach Logan. Logan knew it.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Superintendent's retired, so they ended up giving me the job a week later.
What
And
year
I
would that
retained Bill and John
Uh-huh.
on my first staff as a head coach in 1989
89.
Yeah. Right.
At Asheville.
at Ashford.
Okay.
So I guess it sounds like just
That's good.
just
I thought
working out, and you got the boys stronger. Play wise, you did plays change any at all a little bit, or just kind of y'all kind of done the same thing, or
We just got better at what we were doing.
Just
got better at what you're doing. Yeah.
Got better at what we do. We had a semblance of guys. If you invest, I tell kids this all the time in our strength condition program. It's so much harder to surrender when you invest so much.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
that's the key to it. If a kid's getting there at 6:30 a.m. in the morning in a program that never lifted weights, and you get there and you busting their can at early morning, and then those kids got to go to school, because we did that because a lot of them were playing basketball in the afternoon.
Right, right.
And so back then we didn't have an athletic period, so we did it before school.
You're invested.
Like,
I'll give you a quick side story. My son, he was center and at Cedar Bluffs, and he broke his thumb. So he goes to the doctor, black Stockholm, Fort Payne guy, looks at his thumb. He's like, what do you do? I mean, I told him why before we went, but we
Had to go.
yes.
Okay.
So he put it in a little cast, and he said, "Now when he played," he said, "Well, you won't be able to play. We're going to put this in a brace to hold his thumb." He said, "Oh no."
Yeah, because he invested too much.
Yeah, and the wife's like, "Well, son, if you can't," and I was like, I just kind of let him. He said, he was telling her, "Do you know how much I run this summer? There's no way I'm not playing football. There's no way." He had invested too much to quit, and he just put on that stupid little knee pads he had to put on his cast, and he played through it. And you just, that's why football's great, and that's why kids need to play football. Teaches you great life lessons.
Well, I think at the end of the day, when you look at it, when kids invest so much, and I look at our '87 team that we went 0-10. Now, granted, we didn't get there till June, so we had no spring, no off season.
Mhm.
We started, and then the off season we just won 5 ball games, went 5-5, but we were competitive in every game except for maybe the Piedmont game that year, and then and obviously in '89, my first year. I read the same thing. We didn't change anything. And it was crazy. Bill sort of ran the offense, who now is a defensive genius, and I ran the defense.
Wow.
That's a head
Bill ran
coach.
the offense, and I ran the defense, and look at us, our tracks. I'm considered an offensive guy. He's considered a defensive guy, so we flip roles, which we both talk about this all the time, that we think that's what made us good football coaches.
Sure, yeah.
We was able to handle both sides of the ball.
You
But,
understand it.
yeah.
When you're on that headset, you're just not an offensive guy. You remember what he's going through right down there calling defense. You're like, in this situation, we might could do X, Y, Z.
Right.
And he respects your opinion because you've done.
Right.
Where is Gross at now?
He's at Clemson.
Really?
Yeah, didn't y'all?
Oh, I didn't know that.
Are y'all going to make a
Wow.
trip, or were you was going to visit?
I mean,
or-
John and I talk all the time.
y'all was going to visit or something, go to a game.
But
Or,
we went up there. I didn't have time.
Is he
Went up there in the spring last year.
Yeah.
Spent some time with him.
yeah, good.
is he a position coach, analyst?
He's an analyst.
Analyst. Okay, great. That's great.
He's got a lot to give too. He's got a lot like Coach Pruitt.
Now he coached at Asheville too after you, right?
Yeah, he came in. We left to go to Eufaula after the 92. We had a great team in 92. We just celebrated the 30-year reunion. And we went 12-2. Semifinal loss.
The Sonny Tibbs, that bunch.
That bunch. Yep.
Yeah.
We had a great team. We should have won it, really, to be honest with you. Had our chance to win it. But anyway, we left in the spring of 93 to go to Eufaula, and he went with me.
Oh, okay.
Eufaula stayed with me 2 years. He stayed with me in 93, 94. And but his wife to be was up here, so that was tough on him, going back and forth and all that kind of stuff.
That's
so
hard.
he ended up coming back to Asheville to take the Asheville
Kevin
job
Steele
in
is Bama's
95.
new DC.
Huh?
Oh, they said Kevin still got
Somebody's-
named.
Yeah.
Did-
Somebody's
Kevin
telling us,
What,
Still.
now, what happened to Bill during that time when you went to Eufaula?
somebody telling us news on here.
Bill was at Piedmont, then he went to Tuscaloosa County.
Okay.
So my last year at Asheville, Bill went to Piedmont in 90, 91. 92, he went to Tuscaloosa County in 92 and 93. He went to Coffee down in South Georgia in 94 and 95.
When did he flip to the defense? Is that when he went to
So he
Piedmont?
was an offensive guy for a long time.
Tuscaloosa County.
Tuscaloosa County.
It's interesting.
Where did Gross play high school?
Asheville.
Okay. Okay. I know that now Ohatchee won it in '77, right?
Yeah, 2 years after.
Right. I thought you might have been on that team. Did you have a brother on that
75,
team?
My brother was. My
Okay.
brother was a junior.
Because I read an article. I found some old articles and where Propst was a receiver, maybe a kicker. He might have been a receiver.
I was the receiver now in 74, 75.
What was your brother's name?
Philip.
Philip. It was Philip.
Yeah,
But maybe
he
he
was a
finished.
linebacker, fullback.
Okay, well maybe it's rushing yards, but
Yeah, he had a good.
and I thought that might have been you, but I just saw it on the. And the Crump was the quarterback, right?
Darryl Crump.
Darryl Crump. Well,
Really
that sounds
good
like
football
a
player.
quarterback.
Yeah.
They had a good team. We did too. My senior year, we were ranked number 1, went 10-0. We beat Ramburn 21-0 in the regular season. They never crossed the 50-yard line.
Wow.
They beat us 12-7.
And they won it that
in the
year.
first round and walked through it and won it. Yep.
Yeah.
Huh.
They played Gainesville that year in
What?
the second round.
What are you saying right now?
What?
Played Galesville.
Johnny McDupree.
Oh, Johnny Manuel.
That's
Oh, he was good. Him and yeah.
I think he made them a different.
Yeah, well,
Now, my junior year, we lost to Collinsville. Collinsville had a really good football team in 74.
And
All
Donnie
of
Jones
74.
and all that bunch. Well, they won the state championship in basketball.
They were loaded that year in football.
Really?
They beat us in the semis.
That's interesting.
we're learning stuff today. That's what we love. That's why we love football.
The
I've had
guys-
to get some.
I know some guys that played on the Cedar Bluff team in '77, and they advanced to what would have been the quarterfinals. Had to play Ohatchee, and I don't know if this is true, but they said Crump, the quarterback, did some kind of dance on the 50-yard line. And they beat him to dance. So I don't know if that's true. They tell that all the time.
Alabama hires Kevin Steele.
Yeah, that's what.
That's
it
a
is.
good hire.
Yeah, well,
He used to be it before, didn't
Yeah,
he?
he,
At
he started
Alabama.
with Coach Saban. He was
Yeah.
Coach Saban's first
yeah.
DC.
See, I thought he was gonna get the Auburn job. We felt like.
I thought he was going to be the head coach.
Well, when Harsin left, I think he kind of wanted the spot, and then the boosters wanted Kevin to maybe be it, and then things changed, and they went up hiring Harsin. They didn't help Harsin a whole lot, but now this is what I hear from coaches around the area that I talked to about Harsin when this was going on. They wasn't sending scouts out from Auburn because I asked the coaches, and it don't matter who. I mean, there's coaches I asked, and they're like, "We ain't seen nobody from Auburn." It's like, really? So he said, yeah, since Harsin's been here, I ain't seen nobody. He said they used to send guys up to see us at certain school. He didn't want to go because he could get these less thans. I don't mean that rudely. 3 stars, which are great. I mean, 4, whatever, could come over and play at Boise that couldn't go maybe to Arizona State, USC, Oregon. He could get those guys and didn't have to go sit in a room and talk to mom and pop and,
Right.
sell them on stuff.
You
in
don't
the
think he was
South-
just used to doing it. He just wasn't
No,
used to doing that.
Yeah, in the South, you know what you got to do. You've done it. Y'all both done it. You got to go sit down in the living room and look at mom and daddy and say, I'm going to take care of your kid. You want to come play football. He wouldn't do that. That's what I was told. That's what hurt him at his job. But Kevin will be, he'll do a good job.
Yeah, I'm excited about that. They act like it was.
Well, it sounds like he's going to do what we're
Grant.
saying. He's going to play defense.
Yeah.
He's going to run the football. And he has done a fantastic job. But I want a recruiting class. He's had over 22, 23 signees. They're going to have a good class. I'm worried about your quarterback, though. and they're
I
bringing
don't
on a
know
lot
who
of
their
guys.
quarterback's going to be. I
One
thought
of
the old guy from Oklahoma State decided to go to Ole Miss.
He's with Ole Miss, and he got another one. Lane's got 3 kids over there. He's got Dart and the Sanders
Who's
kid,
good, I think.
and another kid he got from Louisiana.
Hmm.
He said, "Well, I guess it'll be." One of the reporters asked him yesterday. He said, "Well, what about your quarterback room?" He said, "Well, I guess it'll be interesting spring, won't it?" He's trying to just build rapport and give them
I
vibe.
don't
Get
buy
some
that,
job.
that they want that. That they just, like Oklahoma State's quarterback went to Ole Miss. I mean, and he started at Oklahoma State, but some people say he just went for the competition.
Yeah,
But I would think he would go somewhere where he could play, you know.
Most of the time they do.
Yeah, I mean, Auburn's
I thought he would
not
walk
far
on
off
Auburn
from
and
Auburn.
play.
Yeah,
You think, right? Because that guy they got, what's his name?
Kid out of Hoover.
yes.
Ashford.
Robbie Ashford.
Robbie.
He had as much rushing yards as he did passing.
Did you coach Pickens? Boy,
He
he's
was
a
young
talent,
kid
isn't
when I
he?
left. He was like in the 5th grade.
Did
when I
you?
left.
Did y'all know?
Oh yeah, I thought he was gonna be good.
Really?
And I remember seeing him in youth ball and all that
Yeah.
stuff, and then
He's in.
he
He's
just
another
like,
level,
just
isn't
like Robbie. I mean, I remember Robbie.
Mm-hmm.
Robbie was a ball boy for me. He hung around the football office and
Mm-hmm.
Who was the best running back you've probably seen from from those times of being between there and Georgia side? Too many to name.
I got something to go against me. That kid that just signed at Alabama when he was beautiful. We played in the semifinals. We couldn't put a hand on me. About as good as I've seen. Haynes.
Yes.
Haynes kid.
His daddy played, didn't he? What is
He's stud now. And we didn't tackle him.
Oh, really? Did you ever play against Chubb? Did you ever coach against Chubb?
No, I never coached.
I know he had a lot
I
of
had him
yards.
in the All-Star game. I was running back coach in
Yeah.
an East-West All-Star game, and I had running backs, and he was in my group.
Seemed like a good,
He was,
humble kid.
Yeah.
Great kid.
They seemed like a good, humble kid. I seen him run track. One of my friends, his kids go to school. One of the girls, his daughters, graduated with Nick. And they come to a little house party we had over here from a buddy of mine, his little brother. And so she was telling me about him, like in class. He's such a sweet guy, and he carried my bag, and it was raining one day, and he carried her bag, something, somewhere, and she had some pictures. She's like, "This guy here's gonna be a football player. I don't know if you know him." And we didn't know him. He was maybe a junior that year, and I didn't know. And I looked at him, I said, "Oh my God, he's in that tracksuit, and his legs." I was like, "He plays football there." She's like, "Yeah, I think
And he's
so."
been hurt too. He's had a major knee injury, and he's still
Oh, he's a
He's,
beast.
still leads or he's actually led the NFL one year in rushing
Man, he's
with a major knee injury.
He's one of those generational players that just come through. Those Tim Tebow, Cam Newtons, and
Yeah, I coached against him. We played against him. Too.
he's somebody that's super nice.
Oh yeah, I saw that. That game was on TV.
That was the first high school game on ESPN.
Really?
2005.
What about that?
It was unbelievable.
Yeah, I watched that. It was on a Saturday,
It
right?
was on Saturday, 11 o'clock here, 12 o'clock on Houston.
Yeah, I sure did.
Buddy,
Yeah,
he went to see him speak. He'll do those speaking engagements, and he asked him after the show. He said, "Well, you're calling, to preach, and just carry God's word. Have you ever thought about just getting out of football and just preaching?" He said, "Do you know how many people I see on TV?" He said, "I'm doing exactly what God wants me to do." He puts me in front of millions of people in the audience.
Who said that? Who was it?
Tim.
Oh gosh, yes.
He said, "I'm doing," and one of the refs said on the interview, he said, "Tim come and asked me before the game how my wife was. She'd had cancer. We've been praying for her." And he's like, "How does he even know? Like, really?" He's like, "Man, he's a nice kid. Super nice kid." And he's
Yeah,
making
he's
money
good.
talking on TV, which is what Tom Brady's going to be doing. What about that?
At 37 million a year.
Oh, he done.
Yeah.
For real.
Fox.
37 million a year. He's fixing to
Oh, really?
That's on Fox.
Be interesting.
I wonder if he'll come back. I don't personally think
You
he
can't,
will.
man. Don't do it again.
Well, I mean, he what? See, 45.
Yes, he's the same age as me. We're the same age. I think he's a few months older than me.
He'll be
Yeah.
46 and all.
Yes, I'll be 46 in April. He done it. Look, he's the GOAT.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's gonna do it again. Nobody's gonna do what he done. The yards.
7 Super Bowls.
Yeah, 7 out of 10. You go to 10, you win 7 Super Bowls. And how many yards he passed for a lifetime?
No, over 100.
Yeah, over 100.
Unbelievable.
And like,
100,000.
and like when I was growing up, Dan Marino, I think, was man, he had 50. You know how great he was. Which they throw more now, but still.
They do throw one out.
100,000 yards.
A lot of yards,
You
man.
think about Brady's last ball game, he threw 66 passes and
Yeah.
completed 45 of them.
That's great. 45. Dude, my knees hurt. Now he does have.
Oh, they didn't run the ball.
He does have
At all.
cooks and chefs which I don't. I have like yogurt and granola I have to buy at the store. He has people making his food.
Oh, yeah. He's been on that for about 10 years, though.
Yes.
He's been on that nutritional deal.
He looks good.
No, he looks great.
I mean,
Yeah, it's probably helped, I'm sure, to
Yeah.
be able to play that long.
Yeah.
now
Well,
what about
everybody's gone to that guy. It's not just Tom Brady. It's,
Oh, yeah.
it's the athletes. It's
LeBron James? LeBron's going to pass Kareem's record probably this week, which I know I'm not a big fan of.
Oh,
He's,
I
he's
know.
top 10, probably greatest, but personally, I don't care for some of the stuff he says in public, but to admire his athletic ability is uncanny. I mean, good God, man.
Well, they got all the tools around them now.
You don't hear nothing about him on the news. He's good to his kids.
And why?
He's good to his wife, been with her forever. I don't agree with him, but he probably thinks I'm crazy too. Some old idiot from Alabama.
The political stuff.
He has to play into it because
He's kind of rubbed
give
some
him money.
people the wrong way on some
That's
of his
his opinion.
politics.
You gotta hang out with Disney and those people that own ESPN. You gotta
Well, now
be nice.
he run himself with everybody when he went to Miami with those two guys.
Not 3, not 4, not 5. And he talked all that junk. How much says he's gonna win, and
Uh-huh.
he's better than
They did
Michael.
win too. So.
Yeah, but I was like, dude, you know you're playing with Olympic athletes. Guys are on the Olympic team. Michael had one,
Mm-hmm.
and Scotty was great. Michael and LeBron, it's not. I don't even like. I mean, we've been on here and debated with people, and that's fine. I said, look, he's over here on this shelf, and LeBron's over here.
Yeah, LeBron is not the same. LeBron is not Michael Jordan.
No, they just don't even play the same.
No.
Kobe's more like Michael.
Yeah.
Like,
I'd put Michael Jordan as maybe the greatest basketball
Oh,
player of
yeah.
all time. I mean, he was that good.
if you give respect to like the guys that I didn't get to see, that y'all would get to see, like Bill Russell's 11. He won 6 or 7 as a player coach. That's amazing. Oscar Robinson, those kind of guys, the old Bob Cousy's. You got to respect those old guys, the Kareems, but Kareem was a one move. The sky hook, and
Yeah, but
nobody
they
could do
couldn't
nothing with it.
Well, you know who stayed basketball was Magic Johnson.
Larry Bird.
Bird.
Oh, it was going downhill bad, wasn't
Now,
it?
he's my
They couldn't
guy.
even get that. It was tape delayed. The NBA championship was not even
I
live.
read that.
So back when you were in high school, when you were growing up, the NBA was not a big deal.
No, well, it was. No, when I was in high school, it was.
Oh.
But what happened is the fall of the Celtics, the fall of the Knicks,
Okay.
and the fall of the Lakers,
They,
that killed
destroyed.
basketball. And then so it went dormant around 78, 79, 80.
Okay.
It was in the doldrums in 80. All
yeah.
of a sudden, Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson went to the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
Bird went to the Celtics, and
And-
things started to trend back upward.
Right,
But
big
for
time.
about 3 years, it was really bad.
Okay, I thought it was longer than that.
But they didn't have, there was nobody in the stands, there was nobody going to games. But
That's
you know,
amazing,
Boston lost their, they lost, Boston was still really good with, in the early 70s.
Mm-hmm.
Their daddy was a Celtics fan, so I grew up watching TV. If he come in from work, Barney Miller's on, we're gonna watch Barney Miller. We're gonna watch MASH.
Barney Miller.
And then if the Celtics is playing,
Yeah.
we're gonna watch Celtics. I mean, he's
That's
gonna,
Well, you can watch them all the time. I mean, watch whatever you
oh,
want.
there's NBA champ. I mean, there's a lot of coverage.
I still think they play too many games, but
They play.
Oh God, they play so
82.
many games.
Yeah, that's too much.
yeah.
Baseball
I don't
is
even
too.
know what that proves.
How they play so many baseball games.
Baseball's like,
And we'll be having our
They've always done
baseball
that.
media days, guys. Probably 1st of March. So y'all be on the lookout for 1st of March. We'll have our
Not to backtrack, but
Yeah.
I'm sure they know this too. Alabama may be number 1 tomorrow.
Yeah, it's possible. They
Well,
play.
they're-
They play Florida.
Well, they beat Florida. They beat LSU yesterday.
Yes, they play Florida and they got Auburn Saturday, right?
Yeah, but
and in Tennessee.
But see, Tennessee lost this week, and Alabama did not, and they were 2-4, and Purdue got beat. Alabama's good. If you watched them,
by Oklahoma.
yeah. Did
They
you
had
see
a
how
bad
good
matchup.
Oklahoma shot that game?
Yeah.
Oh my
Well,
God!
Oklahoma, will Houston go to 1 or Alabama go to
Well,
Houston.
a guy we know that's got a show down in Anniston said Houston will.
Houston.
Well, they're going to be against the
100%
Tide.
Houston.
They're always against the Tide. Old Nick Saban, look, here's how it is, guys.
They know.
Roll Tide. They're
good.
Stupid. I'm kidding.
No, the Alabama's doing that.
They're good. I mean, every time LSU would cut that to 2 or 3, Alabama would come down and hit a 3.
Well, every time Alabama gets good at something, they cut their feet out from under us. They ain't nobody. Everybody's against us.
Oh, that perception.
Yeah, I'm joking. I'm doing Rick Burgess. He does.
I think Alabama's basketball. I watched a lot of it.
They're good.
They're really good. The thing that they for him to win it though, they've got to get better in closing out games.
Yeah.
Half court offense.
Yeah.
They like to slow it down.
Oh, they just crank it, don't
Well,
they?
if they get cold, they have a bad night shooting. That's why in Oklahoma they lost the game.
Yeah.
You better not have a bad night. That's why I need to have a lot of great fundamentals and be fundamentally sound.
I worked with a guy that just loves Alabama basketball, and he says the best thing they ever had was 75 or 76.
Very good. They lost to Indiana in the quarterfinals or
Yeah,
whatever.
he said that's the
Really?
best thing Alabama's ever had.
It was
I don't
on-
even
it
know
was
who
on
played
those.
for.
And I'm gonna tell you something. I watched that game. I'll never forget it.
Really?
Alabama had the lead. Alabama had the lead. Had a chance to win the game.
Is that when Indiana didn't lose again?
They looked the game and won the national championship. Alabama had them beat.
Who was on that team, Alabama?
Leon Douglas and T.R. Miller. And
Oh, T.R. Miller.
all that.
T.R. Miller, he's got to be related to the school, T.R. Miller, right?
No.
No.
Good player. They had a good basketball team.
Reggie
Wow.
King, wasn't it?
I don't know if Buck Johnson was on that team.
My
He's
uncles.
later. Buck
He's
Johnson's
like
later.
Buck's later.
Yeah.
My uncles are big, huge Kentucky fans, and they're not real
Oh, yeah.
fond.
His
of it.
family's from Kentucky, so he gets the. And now tell me, wait a
They
minute.
said Alabama
Hold
just
on.
kept the same players all those years, but didn't change their name.
Time out. I got a time out.
Uh-huh.
Now, you commented the other day on Facebook that you're switching to
Oh, I was
Tennessee.
joking.
Okay, I
No.
think saying. You're talking about basketball, right?
No, I was talking about football.
Well,
It's just too much drama with Alabama. I love it, but you
they
know,
always cutting Bama down. They never believe in
they
us.
think Tennessee's going to have a good football
I do
team.
too. Yeah, they're preseason. They're top 5 for me.
Oh, well, yeah, I would think so.
Absolutely.
But no, I pull for Kentucky in basketball. Well, Kentucky and Alabama, and just Alabama in football.
81 Indiana was better. No one got within
Who
25.
put that?
Nobody got within 25 points during the tournament. 1981 Indiana.
That's why they had Isaiah Thomas.
That's Jeff Anderson, a great fan.
Okay, well, I don't want to.
Michael
sorry,
Short,
Jeff.
as coach, was the best team he had at Hoover and Colquitt County. What was the best team he had at? Oh, the best team you had at Hoover and Colquitt.
Best team I had at Hoover was probably best team I ever had at Hoover. I didn't win it. That was probably 2006. We
I've
got
heard
beat the
that.
state championship.
I've read that
was the
somewhere.
most talented team I had. Probably the best team I had was either you can't differentiate from any of the state champions. But when you look at just stats and scores and how we dominated at 05, we won the state championship 56-14. I mean, it was not challenged in the playoffs in 05. But 04 is the only undefeated team I had at Hoover.
Right.
So the toughest state championship to win was 03. We had some tough ball games to overcome to win it. In your first one in 2000 be special. 2002 was special. And in Georgia, I would say we were undefeated in 14, undefeated in 15. Again, the same situation. My best team did win it. 2018 had the best team. Went 14-1 and just gave state championship game away.
Who did y'all play?
Milton beat us 14-13 in a game we should have won 35-7. And then in 17 we got beat on a Hail Mary.
Oh,
Should have won
I
that.
hate that.
And then
A Hail Mary.
But probably you'd have to say 14-15 obviously because they won 30 in a row and won the national championship in 15 with that team. So
I was trying to figure out who that quarterback
There's
was.
two coaches here that have, I'm serious, and I'm not trying to be funny, that have been beat by a Hail Mary. How bad of a feeling is that? Seriously.
It's
That's the worst experience I've ever had.
I mean, 'cause you know deep down you don't think there's no way they're going to complete this, right?
Well, I mean, there's no way they scored, but I mean, they completed it, but there's no way they scored. I mean,
I just think that would be the worst way to get
and the
beat.
way his happened was I'm not sure they scored, number one. Number
Yeah.
two is the guy got hit, so the ball was thrown short of the goal line.
Yes.
yeah.
Now I talked to a guy that does local football here, and he's a rule book. This is what he does. His daddy flew radio around Alabama, and he called me and said, "I'm looking at the book. That's not a touchdown. It's where his feet come in down and where he has the ball when in high school." He said, Well,
It's
people
not that
saying,
the ball
well, a
crossed
ball
the line.
crossed. He said that's college. He said I'm looking at the rule book, and this guy knows it.
I don't know.
I
if
would
it
not.
crossed the
I would
line.
not. Honestly, I would not have had a problem.
He said that's not
if the side judge would have ruled that a touchdown. I would not.
Because
have a problem.
of the angle.
Because hey, he could have screwed up.
Yeah.
All right, and I'm cool with that. But he wasn't the one that ruled it a touchdown. It was the back judge who was looking at the kid's back.
Yeah.
Ruled that a touchdown.
How is that possible?
Well, the funny thing is, Rush, the side judge. I mean, it's like deja vu. It's going right back through my head.
Did they meet up and talk after?
Well, I'll tell you the story. So when they threw it, the side judge went. He did this right here. It's like slow motion, man. It was so like slow motion, and it was like, it's like something in the Matrix or something. And I saw this back judge because I was already on the field. I thought the game was over. We win. You know, I was already on the field, and so I'm at like the 25-yard line, 20-yard line, and I see that back judge run into that side judge, stopping him. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, because there's no way this guy makes his call. And he walks up to him like I'm walking up to Rush, and all of a sudden the side judge that went here went
Oh no.
there, and I'm like, did that really just happen?
I guess y'all
You
saw.
know?
That's
Well,
terrible.
Georgia's
Well, no, it gets worse.
I guess y'all saw this. Oh, finish it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it gets worse. It gets worse. And so I'm like, there's no way they're going to get together and they're going to say no way because the white hat calls them.
Mm-hmm.
And dude, I'm not even saying a word. I'm just like standing 10 yards away, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, you know? And so the white hat gets them. There's 4 refs in the huddle, in the end zone, and I just kind of mosey my way on over there just to hear what they're saying. Well, this dang policeman comes out there, and he won't let me near him. And then my policeman comes out, and so I thought my cop was about to get in a fight with their cop.
You can call to the ref, so can you
No, they
not?
wouldn't even let us near him.
Oh my lord.
And so the white hat, about 20 seconds later, it felt like it was 10 minutes later, goes, phew, and they took off.
Oh man.
Didn't explain it, nothing. And I'm like, that's the
a
worst
terrible
way to
story.
go.
Same thing happened to me in 17. Same situation. The ball was thrown. They had to, it was 9 seconds. It was 3 seconds to go in the game, and they had the ball at the 50-yard line. Well, we get crazy. We get a delay of game. And after a timeout, believe it or not, and they moved it up from their 48 to the 47. Then there's another delay of game. We moved from the 47 to the 42. Well, still 3 seconds. All right. So they drop back the pass, throw the Hail Mary, buzzer goes off, kid goes up, catches the ball at the 5-yard line.
Yeah.
On a Hail Mary. It was short.
Yeah.
He catches at the 5-yard line, and we tackle him
Yeah.
at the 5-yard line. After he goes down, simultaneously when he goes down, I can show you the tape now, flag comes out from the side judge on their sideline. Flag comes out.
Oh gosh.
The official on my sideline
Pissing.
looks to me and congratulates me. and only thing he goes, Rush, it's going to be an offensive pass interference, game over.
Yeah.
So when the ball comes down short, their guy comes and knocks our guy down to catch the ball.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sitting there, and he goes, he's listening, he's like this right here, and they're huddled up down there. White hat goes down there, and 3 or 4 officials. He said, Rush, you better get out there right now. It ain't going your way. And I said, what are you
That's
talking
terrible.
about? He said, I think they're going to call pass interference on y'all. So sure enough, official walked back down from the 5-yard line. He walks up, you know, and he goes, pass interference on the defense. Now, granted, we had 9 penalties that night, and that same official called 7 of them. No kidding. We had a touchdown call back in that game, and he called it. And so that moved the ball from the 42,
To the
15-yard penalty.
27.
So that moved it from the 42 to the 27.
What's the score now? What's the score?
We're up by 2.
Oh God.
We'd scored with 41 seconds. We'd scored with 41 seconds to go to win the game, and so that moves it from the 42 to the
Well, they're
27.
gonna kick a field goal now.
And then they're gonna kick a field goal.
Oh no.
And so the ball's on the right hash. They
Sure
line
did.
up and kick the ugliest field goal. He'd already missed 2
Like
field goals.
Tennessee's.
Like the one that Tennessee kicked me back.
Worse than that. I mean, if that's the goal, if this is the goal, the ball, knuckleball, and it went a foot over the goal there and 2 feet inside.
Oh
Right
man.
there.
You just throw up.
Oh, it's the worst feeling in the world.
That's what do you even say to the kids after
I
that?
mean, you're sitting there with 3 seconds to go, and they're at their own 48-yard line, and they burned their last time out.
Yeah, they're usually
The game's over.
90% of the time.
Yeah, 99. So.
Well, what did y'all think about the Cedar Grove? Did y'all see that?
Did you see that?
I saw it. That's horrible.
That was bad.
I
wasn't
felt
it?
sorry for those kids.
I do too. That's what bothers you, and that's as coaches. That's what bothers you. You know what they've done, and you've been with them through it, and they've put in so much. You've seen them sweat and cry and bleed and cramp, and you've been through so much with them, and then that happens. You're like, man,
But guys, y'all you think about what I just said now. I was 17. That's the year we went 7 straight games on the road.
On the road.
And we finished 3rd in the region.
Right.
So when we scored with 41 seconds to go,
Yeah.
you know how you feel when you just win a state championship, and you're thinking we just won the state championship and had no business winning it that year.
Right.
Only had about 9 seniors, and only about 4 of them played, or maybe 5. And then we kick off to them, and they fool around, and they had 2 timeouts. They burned one after the first play because we sacked them.
Oh,
We sacked them all the way back to the
40
14-yard
seconds.
line.
With 30 seconds left, 20
about
It's like a bad dream.
34, and all of a sudden they throw. He scrambles. Remember, get that. He scrambles up. And I hate to say this, and we had a coaching situation that I don't really want to discuss.
I feel bad. I wasn't even there.
And we had a coaching situation where one of the coaches was in some situations, and
He wasn't focused.
We were trying to move the coordinator position to another person during the playoffs because of some things that was going on with him, and so we got to delay of games because when they used their last time out, I called for LSU, which is our prevent call. Me, the secondary coach, the linebacker coach, put prevent in the game, where the defensive coordinator and the D-line coach put base defense in the game. And we got more people on the field, we got 14 people on the field.
Oh,
So anyway, the first delay of game, we get
Oh no.
2 of them off, still got 12, get another delay of game. So it was just a mess. But
Wow.
anyway, it was a catastrophe that you've ever seen in your life. And in 18, we're first and goal at the 1. Don't score and get a field goal block.
oh my God.
And we got beat 14-13. First and goal to 1.
Well, see, Cedar Town was first.
They lost something. Did you see all that? Oh Lord. I feel
First
so
and
bad.
but it was pouring.
But
But they'd been in the dome, they would have won it.
I know, yeah, and we're thinking, they're gonna give it to Gardner, or they're gonna give it to Diamond.
Harlem Diamond.
Diamond, they just got him down there. He just made that big play around the right end. He gets there close, thought they're gonna give it back to him, but he got in a hurry and he was doing this. He was wanting to run it. The quarterback turns and looks to him, and he turns and looks at something and goes back to the line and says something. Quarterback runs it. But the worst play was he never went back to his coach. He looked up at the clock and he went, hurry. And he went right back to the quarterback, sneaked it again.
Yeah, and he got hit for a loss.
And that
I just panicked.
then they tried to run Gardner and he tried to stuff it at the last.
Yeah, that was
Rush,
awful.
why did they move that at the Georgia Dome?
Awful.
Well,
They tore it down.
Well, you
I
come
mean,
out-
The Mercedes Dome, I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'll tell you why, because, all right, so in 18, we had to play the state championship on December the 29th.
Really?
Yes,
But-
because of weather.
Mm.
And then
December
we had a
29th.
conflict.
That's crazy, isn't it?
December
Wow.
29th, yeah.
Yeah.
So after that, the state decided, they went and met with the Dome, because the Dome people were charging the GHSA right at $1 million.
Oh, come on. Why would you do that?
$1 million.
That's not right, man. I don't
And
like
that's the owner of your Falcons now. They could care less about high school
that.
football.
Ain't right.
Blank.
And you had soccer. Atlanta United's a big deal over there. And,
Yep.
he wouldn't work with the GHSA, and he wouldn't take the price down. So they went from, I think it was $960,000 expenditure down, and where it should be $300,000. Well, they went back, so 4 years of this, and the pressure, they finally worked it out. I think they're going to charge them $400,000 to use the Dome. But the bottom line is just taking the money out of high school.
Yes.
I'm telling you,
It's not
here's the
right.
difference in Alabama and Georgia. In Alabama, my best 5-game check, this was MTV, 2-a-days, Hoover was the darlings of high school football in the country. The most money we made was $47,000 for our playoff. That's 5 games. 5 games, $47,000 in Alabama. In Georgia, I've never made under $120,000.
Oh,
In the
wow.
playoffs.
In the playoffs, never.
Wow.
After all expenses paid for, we were putting over 115,
So nearly 3
1,700.
times.
You know, we're putting that.
Is the
check-
revenue share different, or is it?
Yes. Well, first off, you don't have revenue share. You know, if you're in it, the teams are, you know, you're getting a certain percentage like Alabama used to be.
Yeah.
You know, and then you just and the ticket prices over there are more. You know, it's just more expensive to get in a game in Georgia. It's $10 for regular season. You know, and in playoffs it's $10 first round, $10 second round, $12 quarterfinal, $15 semifinal, $20.
It was 20 to go.
But you're saying like in Georgia, the home team's going to get more money than the way it is in Alabama, where we're having a revenue share. Is that what you're telling me?
Right. The state of Georgia don't give it 10%.
Wow.
So that and so 38% goes to the home team, 38% goes, and there's 4% that goes to expenses. So 4% goes to expenses, and then 10% goes to the state, 38% goes to the home team, 30% goes to. But the visiting team gets travel on top of that. So you make more money on travel.
Wow.
So if you're a visiting team, you're getting 38% of that gate, and you're getting your travel paid for.
That's for playoffs.
Yeah.
Playoffs.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, I'll tell you, one year, the first year was the state championship in 2010, just the state championship check in 2010 was $66,000. Just for that one game. $66,000. I mean, it's just way more money and I think that's why there's a lot more pressure at times over there, because there is so much money
Yeah.
that's flowing into the school from playoff revenue.
He says
It's always been that way.
Carrollton never lost a coin flip at a home game.
No. I saw that.
They've never have?
Well, maybe this year now.
Yeah, this is what my guy
Oh, they didn't this year.
They
How
never-
do you do the corn flip? Like,
Well, nowadays, they used to flip it Friday night after the game. You would call up to the state, and they would flip it over the phone,
okay.
and you had a witness. Well, take that back. Let me retract that. Back in the old days, when I first got down there, you would drive. So after a ball game, let's just say I'm playing so-and-so. Say I'm playing, I don't know who I'd be playing. You would meet somewhere that night about 1 o'clock in the morning.
What?
You'd flip.
What?
Really?
Yeah, you'd
Why?
flip.
So would they
You'd be
Halfway.
would it be you and the head coach of the other
It
school?
could be the principal, AD, 2 schools, and the coach. Y'all go to. Y'all seen that? You seen it on Texas?
I've seen it on Friday Night Lights.
Live.
Yeah, where
Really?
they had to
That's-
go.
But I
You-
think
you
that's
been-
real. That really, that's what.
So you've been to Waffle House, and the guy would flip it right there, and he'd hit right there on the floor, and you'd call it heads or tails.
How about that?
Yeah.
Wow.
And then what's it went to now?
So let's do. You had to
I
decide
can't believe
first.
that.
You flipped.
I thought that was just for the
first.
first.
Did you hear this?
You flipped.
You
Sue
flipped
called
the
it.
Sue called
Flipped
it.
Sue called it first.
I can't
There was
believe
2
that.
ways you did it. Here's the way you did it.
I can't believe
Everybody
it.
had their own way. So, like what we did, the 2 administrators get together, and they pick a number between 1 and 10. So they're behind the bus or they're behind outside the Waffle House, and they are. Let's say it's 3.
Uh-huh.
So they
2 in the
walk
morning.
in. They say, "All right, y'all pick a
good.
number between 1 and 10. The one's closest to the winning number gets the call."
Oh wow.
So like, okay, the winning number was 7, and I picked 8. The other guy picked 5. I get to call it.
Right,
That's
right.
how they did that. Then you call it.
That makes no. That's just
Wow.
crazy.
And that's just.
That's
They did
actually
that for-
cool though.
They did that
Yeah.
for years.
I thought
They
that was a
changed-
joke for the movie.
No, they did.
No, well, they did that. That was a
till
3-way tie.
We did
There.
that till 17. In 2017, we started doing it over the phone. We wouldn't have to meet. They just do it in the state office over the phone. And then they'd have a witness.
It's heads.
You'd hear it clank, 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 clank.
Oh, God,
And you'd
no.
make the
It's
call.
heads.
Come on.
And then, now what they're doing is they're
Zoom.
calling it, they'll flip to see if it's top or bottom of the bracket. Wherever you fell in the bracket, they'll flip, say, okay, this week's top of the bracket, this week. You know, that's how they do it now.
That's
Do
amazing.
they still have that stupid overtime rule in Georgia?
No. Were you co-champions?
No,
Yeah.
no. It's
They-
the
No,
penetration.
the penetration. That's the
Oh,
great.
but they used to have co-champions.
It's beyond
did they
dumb,
not?
Yeah.
man. It's the dumbest overtime I've ever seen.
Well,
played
explain that to us.
Penetration. Whoever they put the ball at the
Whoever gets the farthest.
whoever it is the farthest.
They put a stake in the ground.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
That's penetration rule. Ask Michael
I'm not
Short.
lying,
He's
man.
Michael Short's had to deal
So
with that
both
before.
teams get the ball at the 30.
I think Short and them won a game when he was at Albany. I think they won a game on penetration or lost on penetration one time.
I lost on penetration.
It's like 18.
Really?
What are we
Yeah.
doing? 18.
I was at Hiram.
Auburn, Georgia game?
I don't think they do it anymore.
They don't do it no more.
Well, so what do they do now?
Now they put the ball at the 15-yard line.
Yeah.
which I like.
You
I
go-
don't like the 10-yard.
No, that's too tough on the defense.
I like it. I like the ball to 15 or the 20 or the 25.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we should do
10's
that.
tough on the
I don't like
defense.
the 10 at all.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah,
Now,
that's-
Georgia, you put the ball at 15.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know
That
they were
gives
going
you
to fit. You know, there for a while in the state championships, if it ended in a tie, they've just given it to both of them.
Yeah, both
Yeah,
of them.
that's
Rome
right.
got co-champions one
His
year.
They did.
his team, that middle
Barry
school
did that
Chattooga
one.
team, they had to do that one year, and they
Yeah,
beat the
Barry did
team
do it.
back in the regular
Well, it was
season.
Enterprise.
Yeah, we had to be
But-
coach
It's
champions.
like 81.
Yeah,
or like
with
70,
Enterprise.
yeah.
With Enterprise.
Well,
That's
they-
a good story.
They beat
yeah.
them. They beat them in regular season like 50-0.
Yeah.
This team, and then they
We got
supposed
COVID.
COVID happened. They said, "Well, they'll just split it." No, why are we splitting? We beat them 50.
Oh, no, you didn't know what they said at first, though, do you? The director's like, they're champions. He's like, well, we can play Monday. This was like on a Wednesday. She goes, no, fall break was coming, so we would have played the following Monday, which was 11 days away. She goes, no, they're champions.
How are they? Y'all beat them.
And people made such a big deal about it that they gave us coaching.
That's
They were 3-3. We were 6-0.
dude. What are we doing?
And that was Jeff Bullen. That was John's daddy was the
Yes,
coach.
right.
And, I mean, like the director over the league, I was there. She wouldn't answer his phone call. all
Okay,
day.
here we go. We got Michael Short. We got
She
news.
sent him an email. You're done.
What about the
Right, we got news in, Dean. We won on a penetration and lost to Thomasville at home on penetration. Thomasville beat us on penetration, and we went on and won the state championship.
What was Michael at that time?
at Albany High School?
Yeah.
Oh, he's at Albany? Okay.
Albany and Thomasville.
Yeah, when Coach Short was in Georgia, penetration.
I
was-
cannot. Why am I not knowing this? I'm a terrible football. How can I call myself a football?
I,
I'm done.
I don't know.
We're gonna let's start
doing.
doing tennis show. We're gonna start doing tennis. We'll put tennis on. I don't know.
You never heard of this?
No.
Really? It's,
I'm a
it's-
terrible guy.
It's the craziest thing I do.
I apologize.
My
to
first
fans.
game in
I don't know
Georgia,
nothing.
we played Alexander. My very first game I'd ever coached in Georgia. I didn't even know. I thought everybody started at the 10-yard line. We go into overtime, and they bring the AD out on both sides, and each of them's got a stake. And like when one team drives, he puts that stake on the sideline.
And all you got to
And
do
you
is
got
get
to
past
beat
it.
that.
You
Right,
know,
Russ?
How many- So you get four.
But what if
tries.
you go on and score a touchdown?
No,
It's a possession.
It's a possession. It's a possession.
You start
One
at like
time.
the
Is it
25 or the
4
30.
plays?
Okay.
4 plays?
No, like
One.
it's first
Oh.
down and 10.
First and
So if you
10.
get
Oh,
another
okay.
first down,
You keep going.
until
Okay.
you run
okay.
out of
I
downs.
think they put the ball to 40-yard line going.
That may be right.
And the deepest you go, based on how many first downs you get or however long, I mean, you can go down and score. But I mean, it's.
Does it count for
penetration.
6 as a touchdown?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. They made it, I believe, to the 38-yard line. I'm still trying to figure out. I don't even understand this. I'm like, I don't understand.
And where was you at when this happened?
I'm my first year coaching at Hiram High School. My first game in Georgia, and this AD's got a stick
Oh my.
in the ground
So you're
on the
thinking-
sidelines. I'm like,
Are you asking your
What
coaches
in the-
like what are they doing?
they didn't know because most of our coaches did not come from Georgia.
Was that
We
Billy
were all
Martin and all that
confused.
bunch? Was that Billy Martin and all that
Yeah,
bunch?
yeah. Now Billy knew. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
And Bruce,
man. Yeah.
who was your head coach?
Tom O'Boyle.
Oh,
but
boy.
who was the coach down there at Gaines? No, I'm thinking about Gainesville.
Yeah, this is Tom O'Boyle. Richard Garris. I don't know if you know Richard.
But who was the coach to Shalom at Gainesville that was so good? Bruce something.
Bruce Miller. Bruce Miller.
Bruce
Yeah.
Miller. Yeah.
Bruce Miller, yeah.
Okay, Billy worked for him too. You didn't work for him though, right? That was Billy.
I would have thought. I don't know. What are we? They're putting stakes out on the field. Like,
It's the
are
craziest
Are
thing
we
I've
marking
ever
where
seen.
there's holes and we're gonna fill them with sand oh, for
Fill them with
overtime?
sideline,
No,
man.
we're gonna go penetration.
So you know you had to beat that. When you get the ball the second time, you can look and there's a stake. Is that normal?
No.
They do that everywhere, don't they?
Okay.
Because I only experienced that one time in my life.
No, they did,
I don't-
They did that in Georgia for
Okay.
100
All right.
years.
So when you're on offense, you look over. You've got to make it past that stake, and that daggone AD's standing over there.
I think it's I think the 92.
He can mess
93
with
is when they
it,
changed
but he probably.
No. He can't mess with it. No.
No,
Short.
92 or 93 is when they changed it.
Short said they beat Charlie Ward on a penetration.
Dang. pretty
Seems
much-
like there was one
Yeah.
state, and this has been a long time ago, but like if you were tied after the overtime, they went to the yardage, and whoever had the most yards won. Now, I've not verified that. I just heard that one time.
Oh man, it's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
Different places, crazy.
Well, because, I mean, you really can't go by yardage.
I'm terrible. I apologize. This is no longer. We've just claimed a lot of stuff. Like we knew something, Dean.
Well, I've never saw it. I've heard of it.
We're now a sports show. We apologize to our fan base for the past 175 shows, 3 years with it.
Well, I'll go on and tell you that most of them don't have a clue what I'm talking about right now either. So
They've learned something today. That's why you come by and hit the subscribe button.
there's no shame in
It's
that.
free. It's easy. Spotify, Applecast. You can find us anywhere.
But they did used to do the co-champions too.
Yes, and we know y'all want to go home and see your wife and kids, and this has tickled me. I've had a good time.
Yes, sir.
We stay up here all night and talk. My eyes are watering from watching and Coach Propst and the stories and the. This is good stuff. Before we go, let me ask you, so we're gonna see you with the Coosa visor on the sidelines. Ain't that gonna be? Ain't that just gonna be something?
Yeah.
It's gonna be something. I'm happy, man. God's gonna
Yeah,
bless
he
it.
didn't want the hat. He told me, he said, you know, I wear a
Just a
visor.
visor.
He wears a visor.
Yeah,
No,
he
I
was
know
clear
that.
to me on that.
Yeah, there's most
yeah.
definitely. I know
So,
the visor
we gotta give him
and the whistle.
No,
Now, he didn't say anything about a whistle.
Oh, really?
He said a visor.
Well, not for
And I'll tell you something else he didn't mention. The sweater. He ain't mentioned that yet.
No, I didn't do that yet.
you gonna kick it over the
the
jackets like you wore at Hoover.
Now,
No, I wore a vest. I
The
wore a
vest, the sweater vest.
Yeah.
I wore the same thing.
you didn't coach anywhere this past year, right? Okay.
Last 2 years.
Last two. Okay. So you've
it's gonna
actually
be,
coached for 42 years, basically.
40.
40.
So it's gonna be fun getting out there standing on the field again. When them lights come on you, man, God, we hope the best. We hope God's gonna bless it. And He will. We
He
praying
already
about it.
has.
We praying about it, man. We hope that it's gonna just change kids' lives. And to being good young men, and you already know Mark, and I've known him for a little while here and met him, and just
Well, this is what I
making
tell
fishermen
people.
a man.
Here's the biggest thing too is, when I was in high school as a kid, my dream, and I'd say it's 90% of most kids' dreams, is when they're playing high school football, their dream is to play college football. I mean, a lot of kids in today's world, I'd say it may be closer to 100%, but at least 90% of the kids that are playing, they have a dream at some point in time in their career that they're going to be a college football player. Now, everybody can't play at Alabama and Auburn
No,
or
right.
Florida State, but
Right.
the bottom line is, one thing that I'm proud of is I've had 255 kids that have played for me that's gone on and played college football. And I think that some of the stats I've been most proud about is my last 6 years at Coppell County, every senior starter got a scholarship. If you were a senior and you started, you played on some level.
Somewhere.
Somewhere.
Right.
And
That's
I
good.
think that's for coaches too, that's so important to push that envelope because, our program and our kids' futures are only as good as we as coaches are out busting our fanny,
Yeah.
trying to help these kids get to the next level.
Sure.
Oh, I've heard coaches, successful coaches say this one word, and it really infuriates me. Well, it's not my job to get them a scholarship. Yes, it is your job to get them a
I
scholarship.
thought it was.
Yes, your job as a football coach, it really is to get them a scholarship. Is to help them to achieve their goal. We're in this business, obviously, to help them with their faith in the good Lord, helping them be solid citizens,
Yeah.
and hopefully football can help them down the line. But the other thing is, if you'll invest in kids, and I never always did that. When I was at Hoover, I didn't have that philosophy. My philosophy at Hoover was to win at all costs, and I was winning championships and wanted. But when I went to Coppell County, things changed for me. I was humble, and I made a decision. You know what? If you invest in kids, winning will take care of itself. So if you invest in a player's future and guide that kid and to his future, then the rest of it will take care of itself. And I really believe that. And I think we had 131 at Coppell County, and we had my only year at Valdosta, I think we had 8 or 9 kids to sign. And I just think there's too many kids that get left out. Because you think about my son that just signed with West Georgia, okay? There were 9 schools that offered him. Well, he only chose one.
So that position's open at 8 other schools.
Yeah, that same position's open. So, and I'm sure they maybe filled it, but at the time, it really boiled down to 3 or 4 of them in the last 3 or 4 days. So they didn't have if they had a plan B, and they may have had a plan B, but it's not who they wanted. So my point being with all that is every kid that has, and I'm not saying every kid that starts for you has the ability to play,
No, sometimes.
but for the most part, you can find a place. Y'all know there's a new league out there called
fixing to say
Sprint League.
There's 6 leagues now, right? Well, if you got
Now, wait till you hear this
No,
one.
I'm not
Oh.
counting that. There's a league
This
down,
is crazy.
and it's called Sprint Football.
Sprint football.
Sprint Football. You can't be over 180 pounds to play.
Oh,
College football.
wow. When did that start?
2 or 3 years ago.
That's a lineman.
That's lineman everything.
How many teams so far?
There's probably 25
Wow.
or 30.
I know all
It's
state.
growing like crazy. And the facilities in some of these schools are really good.
Yeah.
And now lineman can put on weight. I think he can get up to 190, you know,
Right,
or
right.
after he's, you know,
After he
during the-
starts.
say the first season, he's got to be at 180, 182. And he can put on a certain amount of weight during the year. But I don't think he can ever get over 200 pounds.
Probably very competitive. I'm
And it's
sure, so.
competitive. And listen, this guys, it's scholarship money that's paying for these kids' education to go play that.
So that'd be 7.
know an all-state
You got
running.
NAIA, D3, D2.
There's all-state tailbacks right here in this county that would fit right into that.
Yes,
Right now.
right now.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And there's people, I guarantee you, at some of these smaller schools that if the coaches will research it and find it, it'll, I mean, you're, all right, like, for example,
What's it called? Sprint League?
Sprint League. And one of the coaches reached out to my son. It was $43,000 to go to school, and they were going to give him $39,000
Wow.
in scholarship.
I
He
feel
was
worse
gonna play
about
like
not knowing about
$3,000 out of
that.
pocket.
Now how? Well, I guess without getting into too long, I got to look at
I've never.
how do they? You just come in, you get crew, you play a year, and or is
Is
it
it 4 years?
That's 4 years.
okay?
4 years.
I'll be darned.
You got
No
the-
red. I don't think there's no red shirt to it. It's 4 years.
In basketballs, there's more opportunities to play basketball
yeah.
than that.
Yeah, there's a lot of basketball.
But I mean, there's
But guys, I went up to the
not as many
I went up
players
to
on
the
the basketball
Midwest.
team.
I went up to the Midwest and went all through Iowa and Kansas. We went to several schools. I was really, really impressed and shocked at how nice these private schools were, how the facilities, how the coaches were, and how much money they were giving in scholarship. You know, if it wasn't just so far, my son was heading to Graceland, which is in Lamoni, Iowa, which is only 2 miles over the Missouri border. And it's only a town of about 5,000. The school only had 1,000 kids in it, but it was the neatest school I've ever seen. It was beautiful.
Yeah, you've been around too. You've seen a lot of schools.
And I've seen and that's where he was going
Wow.
until Mars Hill in West Georgia got involved.
And Mars Hill's in North Carolina.
That's in North Carolina, and that's only got 1,000 students. And it sits up in them Appalachian Mountains in the
Yeah,
Smokies.
nice. You know, that's where Billy
Gorgeous.
played.
Yeah, Daddy's got a cabin up there.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
Billy, the guy that coached with and I worked with played there.
Well, I had a kid that signed for me at Asheville
Mm-hmm.
in '92.
Played at
Signed there,
Mars
B.J. Crosby. He moved up there to go play some ball, and he still lives there today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What town is that in?
It's in Mars Hill, which is about 15 minutes
Yeah.
north of Asheville.
Okay, that's a beautiful area.
Asheville,
there.
beautiful.
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Dude,
We've learned a lot. Sprint League. I'd never heard of that.
Yeah.
Nor the penetration.
penetration.
I'd heard of that.
Yeah.
I just didn't know the dynamics with
What
it.
in the world is going
How
on?
many
Flipping
times you had
coins
to-
at a huddle house at 2 a.m. That's
Hey,
crazy.
how many times you had 2 football coaches that lost on a Hail Mary?
Hail Mary.
Yeah,
In the same room
Two.
also.
in the same room. That's
Bless y'all's heart, man.
There ain't many people lost on the helmet. Have you ever coached basketball? Either one of you.
I did.
Did you ever lose on like a half court shot?
Listen,
Here we go.
state championship.
No.
I was short.
No.
Coaching with me. Ninth grade up until 1990, 91.
Uh-huh.
Your ninth grade junior high had state championship in state of Alabama.
Oh, I didn't know.
I didn't know that.
So we're playing at first year. Me and Michael take a team and we go over and play. You remember the Hollingsworth kid played quarterback at
Yes.
Alabama?
Oh, yeah.
Gary Hollingsworth.
Yeah.
Yes,
All
it
right,
was
we played
great.
Hamilton. Played Hamilton, and we lost by 7 or 8 that game, but we lost in the state championship game. They had the Final Four. We won the semifinal game. Came back and lost in the state championship game to Hamilton. Well, the next year, the state championship game is played in Albertville,
Uh-huh.
and we win the semifinal round, and we're playing Berry. It was all classification.
Over in
It
West-
wasn't different classification.
West Alabama.
Huh?
Is it
No,
way
no,
over?
no, I'm talking about
Barry's
here in
Hoover.
Birmingham, Hoover.
Oh,
So we're playing
okay.
Hoover.
Oh.
We jump out to a 16-2 lead in the first quarter. Long and short of it, not the long story, it gets down to the last 30 seconds, and they hit a big shot to beat us 33-32,
Uh-huh.
and cost us the state championship. So I was in back-to-back state championship games,
In ninth grade.
and that was in ninth grade. That was at Heflin.
Yeah.
Went to Asheville. We did basically the same thing, and we didn't get the state championship game. But yeah, my record in basketball is something like 280 and 21.
Yeah.
Now, what about baseball? I know you're a
No,
baseball
I was a
guy.
baseball coach for 7 years.
Right. Now, now I know Ross pitched. I know that from
No,
Ross.
not at Hoover.
Not at Hoover.
I was at Heflin for 5 years. Michael helped me. 5 years. I was
Him
head
and Coach
baseball
Short,
coach.
this man, them guys, what was they getting into?
And so
I need to
a lot of things we can't talk about. But we had a good time.
They just coached everything, pretty
Well,
much.
I
Huh?
went back, I coached the different guys. We coached football, both sides of the ball.
Well, you had back then. You
ran
just
the
did.
weight room.
You just
ran
did.
the weight room. Was coached basketball, which I just said that told that story, and was a head baseball coach. And in the summer, coached 2 Babe Ruth teams. Because back then you could work with your young kids in the summer.
Yes.
Oh, really?
So we
Yeah,
played
yeah.
in the Piedmont League.
That's what
So
we
we
always
drive
did.
from Heflin to Piedmont to play 2 days a week. So all you did was coach your fanny off year round.
year
everything.
round.
It's different sports. All right, we're putting down the basketball stuff. We're gonna go get our baseball bags.
That's right. But we always lifted weights at Heflin now. That's one thing about coaching work. Our kids pounded that weight room, and I think that's why we were always
Sure.
physical, and we could play and beat people like Welborn, Jackson, Sachs,
Yes, it makes a difference.
people like that, because we were as physical as,
Yeah.
as anybody.
That makes a difference.
Now, I'm going to ask you one more basketball question. Can you not work with kids all year if you do like 2 or 3 at a time
Yeah,
for basketball?
you can.
Okay.
You can.
I thought you could.
You know,
I know you can't bring the whole squad.
No, you can't. The thing about it, one of the greatest moments I've ever had in coaching was 1985 at Heflin, and we beat Oxford at Heflin in front of the place literally was standing room only at 4:30 in the afternoon, 3 hours before kickoff. You could not put another person in there. And when we pulled up 2 hours, or pulled up an hour and 15 minutes before the game, people just went ballistic. You go put the balls on the field, and people are cheering and going crazy.
That's
Yeah.
great.
And we beat them. I think it was 14-7 or 21-14.
Yeah.
And that's the first time Heflin had beat Oxford in a long time. And
Was you the
the
defensive
year,
coordinator?
The year before that, we'd lost to them 56-6.
Oh God.
Oh,
So they was
that's
looking
a
for
good team.
Heflin was looking for
There.
some
We beat
revenge.
us 56-6 the year before, and but that was a great deal, man.
They're building a big fancy deal out there now.
It
Like,
is.
wee man, they have
You talking about the softball stuff?
no football field.
Indoor.
Oh, I thought you was talking about that big. Complex
That's all
they got.
coming, and we're trying to wrap this thing up. But I built the first indoor facility in Georgia. Built one of the first. I think I built the first indoor facility in Alabama. We built it in Alma Bryant. I built a 50-yard long indoor facility in Alma Bryant.
Huh.
As I was leaving to take the Hoover
I've
job,
been in the late '90s.
98.
Wow.
98. And we were actually getting it built. As I was leaving to come to Hoover in 99, the concrete was poured and the thing was going up. And of course I took the Hoover job. So I designed it. And then in Georgia, I built the first one that was 100,
Where was it at?
full length at Colquitt County.
Okay.
And now, Carrollton's got one. We had one at Colquitt. Valdosta's building one. Lowndes will be in theirs next week.
Wow.
Maybe in there this week. Camden's building one. Gainesville's got something like that. And theirs is not,
Yeah,
theirs
yeah,
like UAB's,
Gainesville's.
it's not completely enclosed. But indoor facilities are coming. And and let me say this,
That's what
that's
kids
where,
like.
that's where kids are going to want to go play.
Yeah.
Bottom line,
Yeah.
you got the facilities, that's where they're going to go.
And
Apparel
he's
and
got a fair,
facilities.
what he's cleaned up, because I was there when he first come on. I had been there at Coosa before. A friend of ours took a job down there at Clifton, and he wanted me to maybe come down and help the line and stuff, and I go down, just shoot the breeze with him, look around. It was a mess up there upstairs. This is years ago. This is 10,
That's
12 years
probably
ago.
12 or 13, wasn't it?
Yes, this is years ago.
2012.
So I go down there, and I got a buddy of mine, Brad Hunter. Brad went on and kept him coach the line, stayed a little while. Well, years and years go by. Mark gets a job down there, and Bo, I had met him. He was at Cedar Bluff, and we was playing a game. And during the game, a teammate of my son's, Ombre, greatest kid, he's in my church class on Wednesdays, and he slides up on the sideline. He says, "Ref, can you make them get off my beautiful black skin? They're ruining my beautiful black skin." You just got to know him. He's a character, ain't he? He's so funny.
Yes.
And Mark just laughed, and
He's a
through
good
the
guy.
whole game, Mark just encouraged Ombre, told him how good a catch he made. Wow, you're a great player. And I'm like, who is this guy? He's congratulating kids that's not even on his team and they're losing. He's just being a good guy and celebrating kids. So I thought, I got to get to know this guy. So Bo and Reggie was there, and Bo said, "Man, we got to go there." So I met Mark through that way, and I go upstairs. It's a mess up there. And he's like, "I'm going to do X, Y, Z." And I'm like, I don't know this guy really, but, you know. He's retired SEAL, so I'd probably say he probably sticks to his guns. What he says he's going to do, he does it. And, man, what a great job you've done. Wow, I mean, just the scenery stuff. And then also the kids and the attitude and Teddy coming on and helping. And it's just been hilarious. And the helmets and the kids get excited about the uniforms now. They got a bus. Well, I'll go down and see him one day, and he's like, "Look, come here, let me show you something." Like, wow, I mean,
Those indoor facilities. I don't care who you are. Every kid
But that's
likes
what
the
they
prospect of having a practice rained out every now and then. And now that's just
That's
gone.
Now, but I will say this.
You know, kids do. They're like, they don't rain out practice.
That school doesn't have money. We went out and we
man,
raised the
and
money.
We'll shout out
24/7.
to him, my man. Doug.
Okay, so don't think anything was given to us. You know, we raised the money.
Yeah.
All right, and the Lord blessed it.
Yeah.
Okay, just like with him, people says, "How in the world?" Lord's got his hands all over this thing.
You gotta go out and beat the bushes.
He's got his hands all over
He
the.
does.
We had no business having the stuff we had, getting Rush on board. We have no bit. Lord is in control of this thing.
Yeah,
No question.
absolutely.
No
Yeah.
question. It's just like the same day Thomas gets the offer from West Georgia, we solidify the house
Mm.
and over there. We've been looking for a house for 3 months.
Yeah.
Couldn't find a house to rent. And all of a sudden, bam, that happened the same day.
That's crazy.
Thomas gets an offer from the school closer to home. I mean, the only way that happens is the good Lord's, you know, you got to put your faith in Him. And,
Yeah.
and because I'm going to tell you, I've been close to being kicked out where I've been now. So, I mean, it was good to be, you know, to find a place to live. So that's what my
Yeah.
wife has, as I'm doing this right here
Yeah.
interview, and I got another one here in
Uh-oh.
about an hour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I got to go. But, you know, she's moving boxes.
You better go, man. You're gonna get whooped.
Well, I got one more question. I brought it up about the rain. Every kid, every football player's like, it might rain this one out today, especially in the preseason. Did y'all practice in the rain?
Not,
Did I?
I'm talking about back in the 80s.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, pouring, driving rain.
As long as it wasn't lightning.
Yeah. Got to,
I
man.
don't know if we ever missed a practice.
Coach Howard did. Nice.
I
Coach
knew a
Howard,
guy
same question.
from
Coach
Guilford that
Howard.
did. I mean, it could be pouring. He was going out there.
And he told Cloudus that Cloudus
Cloudus would
was
do
helping him. He was principal at Spring Garden now.
But he would practice in the rain for Cloudus.
And he said he knew that it bothered him. What was it, getting his feet wet? Or
Yeah.
And he said he's doing it on purpose. He makes us practice in the rain because he knows I hate getting my feet wet, and it's something Coach Howard and them have going on.
But you know you're growing as a player when you don't want to practice to be rained out because you're not going to get the instruction you need to win the next game.
Well, the guy, you know, the thing
Yeah.
about us at Coffee guys, and the same thing about Oster, but we did a lot of great things at Hoover, but, you know, we advanced from Alma. I mean, the greatest story ever told is the Alma Bryant story. I mean, that deal, we don't even get into that. I don't want to get into it right now, but the Alma Bryant story was a phenomenal story. Transformation of two losers I'm talking about losers. Two teams that were closing the doors and hadn't won a football game in several years. Put them two schools together and nearly won a state championship in 1998 in 7A classification. And that's how I got the Hoover job. We had 8 shutouts in 13 games. And but my point being with all that is that when you advance from there to Hoover, the things we did at Hoover with the MTV two-a-days and the money and the facilities and all the things we did and playing the national schedule that we played, you know, we became the media darlings and all that kind of stuff. When I went to Georgia, we really, I'll write a book about that one day too, because that was a phenomenal deal. When I left that program in 18, early 19, our food supplementation to our players was better than UAB, Troy, South Alabama. It wasn't as good as Alabama and Auburn and Georgia, But it would be like going to Golden Corral after every practice. You'd have a Golden Corral meal waiting on it. And those kids
That matters.
could sit down there and eat.
Oh man.
Because they might not get it at home.
No, they weren't gonna get it home because we were
Every day?
Well, that school was 100% free and reduced lunch.
Yeah.
So no one had to pay for lunch there. But our food, our school food's not very good. My wife put together. They eat the best breakfast you've ever seen in your life. They were able to eat out throughout the day, and every day after practice they ate. And then with the facility, we spent $19.7 million in football facilities at that place. And we're talking about a rural area place in the middle of nowhere in Moultrie, and we competed on the highest level.
Right.
And we had 2,400 kids. Our breakdown was 34% Hispanic, 33% black, 32% white.
It's pretty even.
And, But the problem is, we got one or two kickers out of the Hispanic population. And so we were really running with low 6A numbers and competing on a high 7A level.
Right.
We was in 5 state championship games. In a 10-year period, we voted team of the decade. We were in 10 years, we were in 5 state championship games, winning 2, and the other 5 years we was in semifinals, losing to the state championship.
That's a lot of time. Because we all know the time you put in from sitting in the film rooms, talking to kids, talking to parents on the field, up at night in your scrapbook, scratching with a pen, working on plays.
But the best thing, being at Coffee County about lots of these big blue blood programs, Hoover, big time program, Alma Bryant, we turned it into a big time program. But it all started right here at Ohatchee, Heflin, Asheville.
Yeah.
So to be back at Coosa to me is a blessing because now I'm back to my roots.
Yeah.
And I like that part of it. I really do.
When we talked about this earlier, last year, and I was like, man, that'd be you want to retire one day. I mean, you can't coach to you 100.
Well,
Man, what a great.
25 minutes I can be in my river lot that I bought in Asheville. I'll build it pretty soon when I get started. I'll have that place. I can be on my property in Ohatchee where I like to deer hunt and do some things there. I got my friends around.
Go show
and all that thing. And so it's just a really good thing for me. Because when you grew up in Ohatchee, you were 17 miles to Gadsden, 17 or 18 miles to Anniston. So, I spent just as much time in Gadsden growing up. And, growing up on that river too, that Coosa River, man, I had a lot of great times.
Coach, I got one question, and you can say, no, that's not true, or it is. But Jeff Bullen comes in one day, and he's talking to John on the phone. He said, John's wore out. I said, why? He goes, Coach Propst is keeping them late. I'm like, what, 7, 8 o'clock? He goes, no, 1 o'clock in the morning. Is that a true story?
That's a true story. No, it was...
that might have just been 1 week.
No, it's pretty much on Sunday nights. We were going to be there late, and, and Monday nights. Now, we start... We're not going to do this at Coosa because we don't want to interfere with church, but but we would start 7:30 on Sunday morning, and we usually get to about midnight.
Wow.
Sometimes 11 o'clock, sometimes 10 o'clock.
Right.
But Monday night would be the longer night, and it's worse than Alabama because you got JV games. So, that's a 2 a.m.
And I kind of take it Tuesday and Wednesday, just be normal.
You just got to get everything ready. I mean, to me, I don't want to leave that practice field on Tuesday with no stone unturned. Because for me, our Wednesday's practice is like y'all used to practice on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's a walkthrough.
Yeah.
Wednesday, Thursday for us is a way back down day, and I believe you got to be fresh on Friday night, and the only way to do that is don't do too much on Wednesday and don't do nothing on Thursday.
Huh. I know some schools are going in the morning on Thursday.
Yeah, Coach Smith used to do it at Piedmont a lot. They'd go in the morning because
Right
kids get
before
there early, have breaks, and they just come out.
He told me he got that from me because I've been going on the morning. I started in 1997. Going in the morning.
It seems like when you see them do it, you're like, that seems like a good idea.
No, it's a great idea.
Because after school, man, they want to walkthroughs. When we did, they want to go to eat with their buddies because they got a game tomorrow night.
Well, you got to give parents a chance to get them to orthodontists, to dentists, to doctors' offices, to things that they want to do after school on Thursdays. So to me, I like the Thursday afternoon off and parents loved it.
Yep.
And here's the other thing, academically, it was always a good deal for us because
they do their homework.
They can do their
because they're off Friday night. They're going to be busy.
Yeah.
You hammer down on Monday and Tuesday.
Right when school was out, they went to a mandatory study hall if their grades were not good.
So you hammer down on Monday and Tuesday. I know some coaches don't do much on Monday, and they hammer down on Tuesday and Wednesday.
I'm not glad for that. But
But
Because you're awful.
I think it's worked out for him, Dean. He's won 2.
oh yeah, no, I wasn't.
I know.
I'm just saying that's.
Hey, you're state champion too.
I'm kidding.
Yeah.
He's got a ring bag.
He does have a
I
ring.
coached the tight ends at Cherokee
Cherokee
County.
County Warriors,
He's
baby.
a spread offense.
You know,
Yeah, now they called 20 balls. So.
Cody Blanchard. That's a great class.
oh Lord, really?
Yeah, they were good. They wasn't no bad. Well, they nearly got beat, but they
He
still
said they
won.
didn't even tackle a lot of practice. I said,
No,
why?
they were just good.
They just show up games and win. How do you do that? How do you just have guys
Had 3
just...
studs.
You tackling day? Nah, I ain't feeling like
Had 3 guys
We'll play
that run
Friday.
4.6 40s.
Those special teams, man. And you've been coaching a lot of them.
I coached the 5th.
A lot of those teams.
You know, you remember your losses, guys. I've been in 12.
Oh, yeah.
I've been in 12 state championship games as a coach, and the 7 I won, but it's the 5 I lost. It really haunts
It
me.
does. Coach Saban talks about it. Kirby talks about them. All the greats. You just, man, if we just would have, ooh, man. But that's the competitor. And I asked Coach Howard this, and I'm sure you two guys have the same answer. I said, Coach Howard, what keeps you, what keeps you? He's not old. Coach Howard ain't older than me. Even my coach is Sarah Bluff.
One string guard, yeah, he's
I said, what keeps you going? He's competitive.
Oh yeah.
He just wants to win. So every day when you get up, that's that thing. He wants to win.
Jason's done a good job.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What 100? How you talking about a program? I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, they beat us in Piedmont. They beat us in 7-on-7 last year. We played in 7-on-7 during Piedmont. They beat our brakes off.
what a job he done over
He's
there.
done a really good job.
He deserves the field name, and we aggravate cut it with him a lot. But
I think Jason's very good. I think for a person, good person, he's a good football coach.
you know why I found out more about him is getting to him as a man, because he's my teacher. So I had to respect him as a teacher. He coached City Bluff and Steve did all those years when they started there.
Mhm.
And I ain't just saying this because he's smart.
Oh, he's a genius.
He can Jason can read something.
No, Jason's smart.
I mean, he can read it, and he knows exactly what it said. Knows where it was out on the page.
No, Jason's sharp as tack.
And that,
And Steve's sharp.
Yes, he
God,
is.
yeah, he's the same way. Same
Steve's
way.
smart. We had a long talk yesterday. Day before yesterday, we had a long talk. He was coming back to state track meet, and he was just telling me a lot of things. Because Westbrook and Piedmont played Friday night. And,
Uh-huh.
he didn't go, and I told him he don't need to go because you used to no-win situation
Yeah,
for him.
yeah.
And so, and he didn't go. But Steve and I've talked a lot about life, a lot about ball. I tell you, I don't think I could have asked for a better person to coach my son.
Yeah,
But I had choices.
yeah.
But when I chose Steve because of his integrity, his character, and his ability to coach football. I mean, here's a guy that he don't wear a headset.
I know. They
he
kill so
calls
many
it from-
people.
He calls it from the heart.
We have people comment on that, see pictures of him or video that I may have done that are from like Florida or Mississippi that are on the show watching. They'll say, well, these are pre-game. I was like, no, this is in the game. Also, I said, yes. Jack would come to him, play. He did the same thing at Cedar Bluff, Jamie Hampton.
But but Coach Scales did that for all the 40-something years he coached. He did the same thing at LA.
Coach Howard still does it. It's the same thing.
And
Well, I mean, let's be for real. It's not going to wear a quarterback out.
no, but my point
It's
was-
worked out for him.
But
Yeah.
all of the 2 years I watched Steve coach, I don't remember many plays that he called that I would have.
That you're sitting there going, what is he doing?
What's he doing? No, not many.
Coach Benefield don't either. Paul don't wear headsets. He's got
No.
that little card and he's got his glasses on him, his nose, and he tells the guys blah blah blah, and you're gonna do this and just go do it.
Well, here's the deal. If you don't have somebody good in the box, then you no sense in wearing a headset. But I've always had good coaches in the box, so I've always wore a headset. But because I've had great coaches in the box.
Man, if we can get all those
But do you
guys,
get specific with them? I mean, like, do you say,
it's real Pacific.
okay, I would think you have to. I mean, I've seen people just get put in the box before.
Well,
What do you want? What do you want from me?
To get rid of them, right?
I mean, it's just like, do you want?
video.
Just tell us if you see that.
We moved from first school in Georgia, and probably first school anywhere to, we had the iPads on the sideline, the
So you
TV
can't
on the
replay
sideline, and you're breaking down film.
yeah,
Now, I'm actually talking at a clinic at the Nike Clinic in Birmingham on all that here in about 2 weeks, talking about just the technology and how it helps you win football games. In today's world, really, I mean, it's hard to be good.
It's
That's
amazing.
why I thought Steve, now I don't know if he'll continue to do that as things go on and as things get a little more
Technical.
complicated technical, but you better be on top of your game with the technology stuff now.
To keep up.
To keep up.
We went
Because you're gonna get out coached if you're not careful, because here's why.
Yes.
You look on an iPad and it can tell you everything you need to know about what people are doing.
Play it just happened. But me and Bo, I got to ride him to Hoover play Vestavia. This was last season, that game they played there at the Met. So we go in, go down the sideline, everything, and I'm there on Hoover sideline. And I walk through the tent, and they have these little generators, you know, set up. And I'm kind of snaking through there with my camera, with my phone, trying to get a few pictures. And Brick Boy was doing some stuff. And I'm looking at the tents and the guys and the coaches, TVs,
Oh, yeah.
all the kids are holding pads and the coaches standing. I'm trying to be nosy, but I was curious. And the coach is telling me, saying, "See right here,
That's
you
right.
run this route, you missed it. You should have broke off here on his inside, not broke the outside." So they're learning right there on the fly,
Instant.
right then.
And see, I did the same thing in practice. I'm one of the very few people who did the same thing in practice.
Y'all was the first to have like the
Yeah,
cameras
film,
on the helmets
right.
when you did.
So
first
if
one
you
did
do that in practice, if you're doing it in practice, so now you're talking about the best way to do it. You know, because now I see it. I just went out there for a series. I come back and I sit down and you show me what I did wrong, and you do it in practice, so it just carries over in the game. It's
Not
the
like
best
you used to
thing.
have to be. Rush, you run that route. What was you know, you played high school. Now you can say,
You show it to them.
right here's where you messed up.
You
my
know
whole
why?
life.
'Cause everything they do is on there.
Oh, absolutely.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everything they do is right there.
Yeah.
Every kid.
Oh, absolutely.
But I mean, but it's easier to show them than say, you know, you tell a kid, "Hey, you're getting out of your back pedal way too soon.
Well, I don't understand
Stay in
that.
it." I mean, huh?
What? What do you mean?
But you
I
show
don't
him.
know.
Yeah.
You show it to
Okay.
them. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's better learning because us guys, most men are visual learners. We mostly, but yeah,
Better let
let's
coach go.
Gosh, man, what a coach! We got comments. Everybody, good luck, best of luck, Coach Rush. God bless you. Good to see you back home, Coach Short. Something I asked you about a coach. Some of the kids went to academics, and something about 1982, 94 baseball stuff. A lot of good stuff, man. Everybody's excited for you, and you know, best wishes.
That's good.
And I guess can I still come down and watch? I mean, now you got.
Always.
Absolutely.
Is it okay?
Always.
I'm just kidding.
Always.
We love Mark and Teddy and Larry, man. What great guys! You got a great staff down there,
Right
Rush.
people. Right people.
Hungry, young, and we're. Hey, you're gonna have a good team next year. You're gonna talk about Coosa football, man. Y'all gonna be right in there again.
Yeah, we should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get through spring ball, whatever, we'll come back.
Yeah, I'm gonna come back
But
spring.
you got a big spring game like last
Yeah,
year.
we're working on it as we speak.
Working
Do you
on
need
it.
an announcer?
Well, we're moving to
Virginia
Jacksonville
Road.
State.
Well, dang it, I can't announce down there.
They may need somebody.
Yeah. We're trying to get a
Coach-
television.
Coach Rod.
I'm working on the television side of it.
You might jam like stuff like we did. I covered for you last
Yeah,
year.
yeah, yeah,
Have same teams like Paul's
yeah.
gonna come
Yeah,
and
yeah.
the guy from what's that school? Thornsby.
Thorsby's in.
That guy was man, that kid's good after it.
Yeah.
I've never met him in my life.
Yeah.
I had an interview with him.
That's the first touchdown pass I had in my high school career against Thornton.
Really?
And
Hey, these kids
And
are rough, greedy,
I
they
don't
get after it.
think anybody from Thorsby's watching, and I hope not. And if they do, I apologize. Have they ever been really, really good?
I have no idea.
They were bad in the early 70s.
Okay. Well, they get after it. Coach, I really like him. I know, first day I mean, I'm a people. I can read people very well. So I like that old guy. And of course, Paul.
Rush?
Well, of course, yeah. Sometimes the coach at
Anybody
Thornsby.
can win.
Oh,
Anybody can win if you put forth the effort and you stay after it. You can win.
Just about how he answered the questions and how I could tell how the kids rapport with him. And I'm watching, listen how they talk.
Yeah.
He's gonna be fine. He does a good job. All right, sir.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all.
What are you? Way to end the show, guys. Y'all come back next week, and we love y'all and we appreciate it. And we'll catch y'all next week on the Matt and Todd show. Show number 176 next week. We'll be a Super Bowl
No, that's
special.
this week.
We'll be a Super Bowl show next week.
I thought it was 177
Yeah.
next week. Oh, yeah, this is 176.
So we'll be back next week. Thank y'all for coming by. And,
Do y'all do it before Super Bowl?
yeah,
a few
an hour
hours
before. We will. Y'all keep your heads clear and your hearts full of God. We love you. And thank Coach Propst and Coach O'Brien.
Thank
See
you.
y'all.
Thank y'all, guys.
Thank you.